I feel like Nate wants to know if we went live. And I suspect Vila will also be the same. Like I said, I really expect what's going to happen is that we're going to have a series of people who are going to want to get into the post-debate shenanigans, and we'll see. All right. However, if people don't put us in that side of the conversation, we're not going to go in that side of the conversation. So instead, we're going to talk about what's going on here in DDOville. So, first of all, we're level 19. We're rank 92, almost 93. We're actually... Hey, there's Talab. What's up, baby? Almost ready to cap it out. I think we're going to do our best to stick it out, do some prep. So we will hopefully be TRing tomorrow. Druid. No. My page was all scratched up after Remington sat in here. Mm-hmm. Druid. Monk. Alk. Then we got a Pally. Pure. Then we have a Eldritch Knight / PM melee. And then we also... I'm going to put this slash in the Pally for Barb. That was the other suggestion we've had so far. So... Hey, Radicules. What's up, my man? Hi, Fran. I see you now. So those are our options. If you guys have opinions or options or ideas for another one of these human lives, let me know. I do think I want to make one of these into the Eldritch Knight Pale Master melee build. If it's what wins tonight, that's awesome. If it's not what wins, then that's totally fine too. But then it means I'm pretty likely to decide for myself. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, I assume that you're still on your big daddy and your big daddiness here. So anyway, I have my pencil ready. In the event that people are interested in giving suggestions, I'm down. If people have the desire to jump into the voice chat and have a conversation about some of the other things that's going on, I can do that as well. I'd like to get up here to the conditioning. I guess we just take wisdom here. And that gives us 9 points. Then we're not that far away from being able to jump up there. But yeah, we'll be great. I've been told to vote for the Druid mod as well. Well, are you a Patreon, Rhett? Because Patreons can have their votes absentee or advanced voting. He's like, what? Well, only if you request a ballot in advance and one is sent to you. Only then will I not set a forest fire. Oh man. What a glorious S show. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but if it's not here by the time I'm ready to take it, it's probably not going to get counted. Alright, so let's throw this over here, and let's start cleaning up some of this miscellaneous stuff that... of course, that Stone Shoes happens to be mythic, so we have to check. This Nightshade Shooter is not. Shadow Sprinters are not. This ring is not. Locus of All is not. Moon Willow is, so we'll check it as well. Let's put this stuff in this tab to check later. This Shattered Chain seems bad. I hate to just throw an atonement in the trash. If a new person happens to be on Serlona and they would like some of this stuff, feel free to let me know. I've got quite a bit of like weird miscellaneous, but like still quite like good equipment at some of these weirder levels. You'll stop now, but thanks for entertaining me. Hey, I'm down. What? Did we roll something reasonable on our roll? A 92? Uh-oh, is the curse over finally? Yeah, the curse was crazy. We were on like almost a 2-week run, I think, with only getting hundreds basically on our gold or on our silver roll. All right, I think we have spells too. We do. Oh, I think we take Mass Regeneration. I'm not sure where to put it. I guess we'll stick it. I honestly don't know. I guess we'll put that here. This little baby heal here. And we'll put Mass Regeneration there. I don't know. We'll see how much we actually end up casting it. And we have an extra 7. I guess the only other one that I actually care anything about is going to be this, so we'll take that. Alright, hopefully people will start chucking along and jumping in on the voice chat and whatnot. I'm a person that is definitely a political animal, and I get like invigorated watching stuff like that, even if it's not good or helpful. Which that was not. It was so glorious. It was a train wreck doing train wreck things for sure. All right. So let's go do Sharn Part 2. We aborted doing that last night thanks to deciding to jump up and help out See Me, See You. He wanted to play, and we had a little bit of a window where he could play with us, but we tried to get him flagged for Sharn 2, but it turns out you have to do all of Sharn 1, so we'll see what happens. Oh. People are like, what? That sounds like a soda. It is a Moscow Mule by Clear American. Non-alcoholic, unsweetened seltzer water. It's not the worst. So, ridiculousness of Flunder. Alright, let's get started. Fire off a quick no refunds. Like I said, I think if we knock these Sharn 2 out and the cogs out, that should give us the 2 sagas. This will definitely give us a probably at 2 ranks as well. So this should pretty much finish us up. If it doesn't entirely finish us up, it'll get us pretty close, I think. So should be pretty sweet, all things considered. Alright, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to start going down the line casting buffs on the various hirelings here. If you haven't seen me do this before, I'm a big believer that the pets need a little bit of love, and if you give them just a little bit, they can actually go quite far. That goes ahead and includes the fire elemental, and then of course I want to make sure that I'm in water form, and then that also includes me. Looks like Nader Potatoes put together something sweet. Oh, looks good. Look at it in more details later, but looks like a start. The other thing I want to say, sounds like a liberal drink. The other thing I want to say is I took the downtime today that I wasn't streaming because I obviously didn't want to like do like a weird thing in the middle and then be like, oh, time for the debate, bye everybody, and then come back again, because I just didn't have that much that kind of needed to be done. So it just kind of like, I don't know, worked out, I guess, the way that it ended up doing it here. But it gave me a window that I needed for a while to get some work done that I've been putting off for a little bit. So we have the final video for the Faye Buckler build, the Faye Buckler 2020. We got the Melee pit run out there. I actually kind of like it more than the other version that I had going, if I'm being honest. Let's see, what else? There's another video. Oh, and the the Hardcore Season 3 review is also done. So quite a few things got done today, even if it, if we didn't get our streaming on. There was still lots of content put out there for you guys and or gals. All those videos are posted on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SamusGarobo. Hey, here's you Dorcases. How's it going, my guys? Oh, you're super quiet or DDO is super loud. 1 second. Let me see what's going on. Your volume's at 100. Think I'm smelling old. Give me a second. Hey, Rhett, why don't you say something? See, Rhett sounds mostly fine. Although Rhett's at 130, so let me turn Talau to 130 as well.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guy? Alright, there we go.
Good. Just talking to some political friends of mine. Sorry, that was taking so long for.
No. So, we're doing the DDO thing. People want to bring up the debate stuff, we can talk about it. If people want to avoid it, we can do that too, but... Oh.
So
no, not really.
Let me start over for a second. So I was talking to a couple of buddies of mine. One's both from New Hampshire, and they're big Bernie Sanders supporters. And after tonight though, they said they are voting for Trump now because at one of the rallies he did, Bernie Sanders told them that Biden was going along with the Green New Deal. And after tonight he's saying that he's not part of the Green New Deal. That's why they were voting for Biden, because he was supporting it. Their candidate wanted to be supported. So those two people are already jump ship. They're like, sorry, can't do that. It's not what we were told, not what was expected of our vote. So they're going to the other side.
To be fair, Biden probably
He came out and specifically said that it's not his new Green Deal is not the new Green Deal that was advertised by AOC.
He's a big fan of the Biden plan.
So that's the thing they said right off the bat. They said, man, that's pretty telling from their point of view, because that's, how can you go against what your vice president candidate wants, and then the guy who conceded you basically, Sanders, and then now they said they can't. And they also, two of the people I was talking to were early voters, and now they're upset because they don't take their vote back, but they can't take it back because they've already voted.
Correct.
And that's why I always tell you, I will never vote till all the debates are over. I'm voting on the election day. Because if something happens and I will change my mind, I can't change my mind now.
right.
Yeah,
And those were Biden supporters, and now they're going to Trump. That's 4 people.
Yeah, one of the people that a friend of mine, before I started, basically, he said, yeah, I'm not gonna watch because there's no point. If you pretty much already know what you're getting your hands into. And I was like, I'm gonna give it both sides an opportunity to change my mind, because I just don't know if I could be swayed. Like, I fully admit I have a bias. I feel like I'm probably leaning a particular direction. Sometimes I say it's as high as 80%. It's probably not quite that high. It's probably closer to like 55%, maybe 60%, somewhere in that ballpark. Like, I'm pretty much sure where I'm going to go, but, I could be changed. And there was a lot of things that both candidates said tonight that I was like right on, and then there's a bunch of things that both of them, a bunch of things that both of them said and did that made me think, ugh, do I really want to put my thing this way? So, it was...
happy birthday, V-Love.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everyone can get those things in there. So,
Thank
all
you.
in all, I thought it was fun to watch in the same way that it's fun to watch a car crash that you see coming.
Yeah.
I just thought it was. Oh, and also one of my friends, a girl, she said, no matter who you don't like or do not like as whatever candidate, the one thing you have to have is respect for whoever the president is. So when Biden called him a clown, she said she lost respect for him. For
Multiple times. Biden did, in my opinion, really did a lot of name calling.
I think he is at the point now where he wants to say what he really wants to say, but he can't because all the votes people that he's making deals with.
Because the
AOC,
they something hell.
You know,
Yeah.
like he'll lose the like people tonight already said they're supposed to vote because of the Green Deal, the peace deal. So they were lied to by their party member who's siding with him that that's what he would go with, and now he's saying he's not part of that.
I can just
So-
see his like the speechwriter just like ripping up like all the talking, and it's like, God damn it.
Yeah, you're still quiet compared to everybody else. I'm turning up to lab a little bit more, but you might want to...
Kind of prefer it that way.
I hear him fine.
Okay. I don't know. I turned him up just a little bit just to see if it was...
I still think you're just getting old, man.
Yeah, it would be true if, one, my ears weren't, like, still as good as they've ever been, and two, if everybody else had a problem. It's just you.
Here's a question for you guys. Is Gore in the chat too, right?
Yeah, he's up here now, too.
Now you're military, right? If you get caught doing cocaine as a military guy, do you get disarmy discharge, or is it kind of depends?
It depends if my commander wants to nail me to the wall like I'm a cross or not.
Because
He might like slide it.
I know Biden's son had a lot of problems in the military about discharge. He brought up the cocaine use, and he finally admitted because remember Biden's denied drug use this whole time. That's the first time he said, yeah, he had a problem.
And here we're talking about Hunter, not Bo.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, Hunter. I'm a firm believer in like just be who you are. Don't try to jimmy jam me to side with you on Monday, and then Tuesday I don't side with you. Then on Thursday I agree with you. Then next Tuesday I agree with you. I don't like that. Just it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to take Biden serious ever because he does stuff like that. You know.
What it really comes down to is, do you threaten the people that care the most to me?
I mean, that's...
I'm about family first. I'm definitely about family first. But it's kind of funny how he like trashes about the Supreme Court justice, but he's a devout Catholic who talks about getting discriminated against. So it's like, well, you're doing the same thing against this lady that might not even be the justice yet.
Well, he came out and supported her. Well, he didn't support her, so to say. But
He
spoke
said
up.
that she may have the qualifications needed.
But she has
Oh,
the
that's-
qualifications. You can't get nominated unless you have qualifications. You can't just be like clerk at CVS and get nominated.
It's a loose definition of qualification. Awards, and who the candidate is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm always going to do my best to be fair, and he did not specifically take shots at her in a way that.
But
I think
what
would
I'm saying
be-
is like his party people that he's supposed to be supported with take shots.
Sure.
So if,
Yes,
you're
yes.
leading the party, you can't have that. You gotta be like, hey, dude, shut the fuck up. Can't be saying that.
And if you're Biden, you might actually say exactly just that. All right,
Yeah,
did
so
we
that's
find all the
that's-
bits? I just ran past it. No, still missing one.
My grandma told me I was talking to her like about 10 minutes ago. She's like, she's 95.
Think you lost me, Gore.
I think he broke up. I think his mic was breaking up.
I just heard P95.
Oh, okay.
She's 95, and she told me, she's like, you know,
There we go. Again, I'm not getting it. I only got part of your statement, Gore. What did Grandma say?
Grandma said knock you out.
I'm gonna say we're gonna start the Get Gore a New Microphone Fund.
Yeah,
Send all
maybe.
to Sam.
Him to lab too. Yeah,
Hey, I have a good microphone. I don't know what your problem is.
well, I turned you up again, so hopefully.
Insert the Get Sam a hearing aid ad.
I'll let
Yeah,
you-
again, I can
Definitely.
hear you guys just fine. I don't know. I can only
Well,
the only
you're
person
right.
I'm having problems with is Gore and Talab here.
And you're the only one having problems hearing me too, so.
Oh, I turned you up more. Gotcha. I just had to turn you up all the way apparently, because apparently you gotta wrap that microphone around your mouth like you would a big old schlonger and go to town on it.
Oh, got the cat wrap going.
Ugh.
Somebody's missing it. It's okay, Sam.
Aw.
Keep telling me come to Vegas and, you know, what happens in Vegas, you know?
Stay in Vegas.
He apparently is trying to seduce me, you guys. I'm not comfortable with this conversation now.
Oh, I'm not trying.
Yo.
I'm doing it.
I think he's on for that several years now.
Oh my goodness. This whole time I just assumed that those micro penis pictures were Tobrell. I didn't realize it was you as well.
Are you guys looking forward to the vice president debate?
That one I think is actually going to be really fun.
I don't know. I'm gonna reserve my commentary on that one. I don't know how much he will have in that one particular one.
Well, I have to say I'm
To,
surprised we
we
had.
calling it the Harris administration.
Again.
Isn't that funny? I mean, stuff like that, man, just can't go unnoticed.
I still firmly believe that this is all just a ploy to get Kamala Harris into office.
It's
That's what I said all the time.
got-
Like, Biden's gonna resign in like, he gets to resign in like a month or two.
Honestly,
no.
I think what's gonna happen is he's gonna if he gets president, which he won't, but if he gets president, he's going to get in there for like a month, and then the party's gonna be like, yeah, he's not fit to lead, so we're gonna go ahead and have him resign, and Kamala Harris is gonna be president.
I just don't understand how she had those kind of connections. She didn't get a single vote cast for her.
I know, nothing. And she trashed it. That's another thing, guys. I can't, in good faith,
And she called him a
hired
racist.
Talab to be like my running mate. And the whole time Talab thinks I'm touching girls inappropriately or stealing money from people.
Called
and
him
then
called
hire
him,
you-
called him a racist. Said that
Yeah.
you're touching you're like assaulting people.
It's like, you're the last person I'm gonna hire to be my vice president or running mate.
Well,
or
he
whatever,
didn't
you know,
pick
it's
him.
like-
He didn't pick
but
his
you know
vice
what
president.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's what I'm...
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I'm saying. I mean, because you don't. You're not the one that picks that. You know, you pick your vice president based off of a couple of things, including what they bring to the table. I don't know
but they're-
what she brings to the
they're-
table.
Yeah, because they're the second.
Yep.
You're not gonna pick someone who has opposite thoughts, like, oh, I like the Green Deal, I hate the Green Deal. Oh, I like free healthcare. Oh no, I want socialism healthcare. Like, those are the opposites of the spectrum. So it's like,
Well, they're both
Doesn't
the
make
same
sense.
kind of person in
Yeah,
that
no, I
regard,
don't
though.
think
They'll
so.
say whatever they want to say.
I think Ghostbusters is probably the best movie.
that's true. She wears Chucks too. She says she's hip now because she wears Chuck Taylors. Like,
Oh.
whoop-de-doo. I've worn them my whole life. I got a pair on right now.
And that's all he has on right now.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Insert
No,
micro penis.
I'm wearing my black and red Puma shorts. And my girlfriend's G-string on my head. That's about it.
See, that sounds more appropriate.
Aaron Rodgers is wearing a black freaking bandana.
The black one? Oh, I'd rather have a white one, but, you know.
Oh, man. Anyway.
Black bandanas matter.
Do you like the part that where, like, Trump told him, like, tell me one police organization who supports you? He goes, take your time, we can wait all night. We got all night to wait. He couldn't name none. Nothing. I thought it was funny.
Alright, Sam, we're going to give your stream back to you.
No, I'm having a good time. If you guys want to go, you guys are welcome to go. If you guys want to stick around, you're welcome.
No, I'm going to stick around. I
As
don't
well.
want to. I feel like sometimes I come in here and my mouth overloads my ass and I need to shut up sometimes, so I just want to make sure we're not.
No, you guys are fine. Like I said,
Sam does that all the time.
A Compton on his playlist, but
What you do?
I have
Easy E?
I have a lot of fun having other people in the chat with me as well, as long as we're having an interesting discussion. Like,
Yeah, I don't ever, like, hold grudges against it. Like, my sister, like, she's opposite. She'll, like, hate her friends that don't agree with what she has to say. I'm, like, opposite. I'm like, dude, you're my friends. I've known you my whole life. Why would I, like, decide politics over, like, friendship or family? There's no way it would ever happen.
Yeah, I have some friends that I can talk politics with all day long, and like we can both disagree with each other and just be like okay with that.
well,
And
like
I
you have
have
a friend talking about she liked her hair pulled, and I'm like, okay.
hey
I have
Gore,
friends that I can-
try to dial it back to the conversation we're having, bud. Or you're
Alright.
gonna have to take a break.
And then I got friends that I just can't like talk. Like I can't even bring up politics because it's just such a
They-
touchy subject that.
They take it personal.
Yeah, like they can't talk about politics like an adult and just realize that like people have different views.
I'm right here to laugh. Just call me out by name.
Rhett, you can't have a conversation with people because reasons.
Yeah.
You think everything matters to everything is about you. Not everything's about you, my guy. Just most things, not everything.
That's just the Texas
I'm from
mentality.
I'm from Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas, including your egos.
Especially Rhett's.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh my god.
I mean, shit, me and Sam always clash on politics stuff sometimes, but I never make it personal like I don't like somebody. It's just I don't get that. Especially over people that we're probably not going to meet in our lives, or sometimes might not even directly have influence upon our lives. Sometimes, some maybe not. But some people like to sit there and just they think it like it's like gospel, like they really like hang out with these people. It's like, dude, you're not going to hang out with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to his birthday party.
Well, it's just
So, like,
sad
I
because
understand
Joe Biden probably is a sweet dude to hang out with.
Probably
I think,
a great guy.
I think
Give me some of that
honestly,
Adderall and.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you guys are Joe Biden fans. I apologize, but he was definitely on and off all night. I'm sorry.
He was the way up. Like he was hooked into my morphine pump in my stomach. Or something. Sometimes I felt like he was gonna fall asleep. That's why
Well,
he
and-
was like super amped, like he did regular coke in the back before he came on.
Well, and sometimes he like would make a really great point. Like, I think
Yeah,
he
but
said
he-
everything that
other-
I said when it comes to like police problems,
Mhm.
right? Like he summed it up really good. It's like we need to get together, we need to have a conversation, we need to fix these things. He didn't mention the unions directly, but indirectly he said, you know, we got to get this stuff taken care of, and the people that protecting bad cops have got to find a way to increase the transparency so we can get rid of them.
But
That's
here's
what
the
I've been
problem,
saying
though.
the whole
He
time.
hasn't been saying that at all until tonight.
Yeah, let's set it tonight.
I'm belly button record.
But that's
Yeah.
the problem, right? For the last 3 months, he has not talked about or said anything about anything. Like
It's hard to
that's
hear.
the solution.
Well,
Yeah.
I understand that.
His evil die and his mice will take over.
So that's why I can't take it really seriously. Like, why now? Why wait until now just to finally say something? When you could have been saying it the whole time and made yourself look better.
Because now's the time that he said it. Like,
But you have people that voted early that not gonna take back their votes and they're
oh
fucked.
yeah.
No, they'll be able to vote.
Rat just decided to like throw out some conspiracy crazy.
Actually, I'll local news story here in Houston. I can't remember his official title, but he's within the Biden campaign. I think the representative down here in the Houston area. He was indicted today for ballot harvesting.
Yeah, they found a bunch of people ballot harvesting as well in the north, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ballot harvesting is. I was just gonna say, ballot harvesting is very real, and people had better be ready for the shenanigans that's gonna hit the fan.
Well, that's fine. We know it's real. Then why do they keep denying it? I would rather have them just say, "Hey, it happens. It's
They have the
possible."
right people in power to deny the allegations.
It's not just that; they're not denying the allegations. What they're denying is it has been a problem in the past.
But it
And the
happened.
reason, well,
Lyndon Johnson did it years ago when he ran for Senate.
correct.
In the 50s.
But
People were dead.
but when they're saying that the people who are saying it's not a problem historically, what they're speaking about specifically is not what's happening now. So what's happening right now is that people are getting mailed mass ballots without requesting it, and people who are going over and requesting the ballots are not a problem. It's these mass ballots that are becoming the problem. They're literally paying people for their ballots right now. Like they're literally harvesting ballots.
There's
The Somali families in Chicago are doing that. They're buying them from their family members.
I don't want to get too like here's my political views or whatever, but if you can stand the conservative viewpoint, there's a podcast gentleman named Dan Bongino, who's a Fox contributor, but he had a guest on the show a couple weeks back who was he's made a career out of just doing that alone, doing the ballot harvesting, and he just talks in depth about the ways in which they go about to do it, and just how truly real it is. It was really interesting to listen, kind of opened my eyes to some things.
Well,
But that was my question. Like when they're on like the news and they're talking about that debates, and like it has to be, they can't just say it's a lie. It doesn't exist because it makes them look like they're lying.
well, again, they're
So
they're
they
not
all
saying
over
that
it.
they're lying. They're saying that the people in power say that this is not historically an issue, and it's
But it
because
is an issue.
well, it is.
One is too many.
But historically, this has not been a big deal because historically we don't do a lot of absentee ballots, which is why what's going on right now and has been caught right now is so shocking to people. Because when you point out things like, you realize in 2016 there was a vote in New Jersey that was decided by 800 votes, and they just found 2,000 votes from that election in a misfiled location. And all of those were for one party, the losing party,
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
So when you point that kind of stuff out, because it's been discovered in the last 2 months, right? So when you point that kind of stuff out, and they're going, well, historically this hasn't been a problem. Well, when did they say it historically wasn't a problem? Oh, like 3 months ago, 5 months ago, when we first put a quote out about it. It's like, okay, well, how about now? What did they say today? What did they say this afternoon? Because was it the same thing? Did they say it doesn't look like it's a problem this afternoon after we've seen this fresh data? You know what I mean? Like, people have an opportunity to update their opinions with current information, and some people let them, and some people take a quote from out of context or a snippet of a quote. Like tomorrow, for example, we're going to hear about how the president was not able to condemn white supremacy, which he has gone on record and condemned it numerous times. But he was in the middle of a 2-minute response. He asked for an organization. Joe Biden cut him off in the middle, so then he swiveled to an attack in response to what Joe Biden said. So what's going to happen is people are going to say, "Oh, look at the president nodding and winking at the white supremacists again," because he can't just say I condemn, where now has the order in place that literally the KKK are now considered domestic terrorists.
Well, Biden can't say anything because he wouldn't condemn Antifa. He said they're just a thought, they're not people.
Correct, and he said that tonight even.
That's what I'm saying. So he's full of shit. So we all know that they're real, and they've had videos and their own documentary, their own website talks about it.
Well, I'm just saying there, but that's not what you're going to hear about tomorrow. You're going to hear about people taking this mismanaged approach from Trump.
The freaking moderator was cutting Trump off. Like he was not being like in the middle. He kept like, oh hey, you're in the middle of a thought, Mr. Biden, would you like to respond? It's like, you know, let the guy fucking finish the thought.
Yeah, the moderator started out very neutral, I think, for the
Chris
first
Wallace. I
Chris
like
Wallace.
Wallace.
I think he did a really good job for the first, I don't know, maybe half, 3/4. Nah, not 3/4. About the first half, maybe the first 2/3.
I think Trump got condescending a few times and it kind of pissed him off.
So
Well-
Holler, are you either?
45.
45, so you're 2 years older than me, okay.
So there was a minute there where Trump realized that Wallace was not going to be neutral and called him out on it. And I think that is the moment that it kind of like shifted the balance back.
I mean, I think if you let Biden talk long enough, he puts his own foot in his mouth.
Well, and that's the other thing that people were saying.
Trump really didn't need to keep cutting him off sometimes. Like, just let him talk, he'll fuck himself up. He'll stutter, stumble, and
Well,
mess
and,
his own stuff up.
and there was definitely a lot of moments where Trump could have let Biden slit his own throat like that or whatever. And for sure it was incorrect for him to make some of those plays. But at the same time, like, it's hard for Trump to not respond. I definitely think that Joe Biden's prep was better than Trump's by a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that's what happens, though, when you put a lid on the day, first thing in the morning every day for literally, 10 days, 11 days, something like that. Like, and do nothing but do prep work. You can get a lot of practice.
I like it with the part. One of my favorite parts was when Biden, Trump was talking about, like, my rallies, we have 20,000 people show up, they have a good time, and maybe they want to hear what I have to say. You have nobody there because no one cares what you have to say.
Right.
It's pretty much point blank, like, it's true. No one wants to go to your functions to see your stupid shit because you have nothing to say that's worth value because your team sets you up with, like, home run style, softball sized questions that you can hit out of the park every time.
That's also like one of the statements that it can't really be backed up with any substantial proof or evidence because there's no test of it. Like he hasn't been having the big rallies. He's been hosting them at small locations, small venues, and they've been filling up. It's just, I have enough liberal friends, good Lord, that there's a base out there that is interested in what he has to say, but they don't seem to be as energized as what Trump base does. But just Trump's more entertaining. He's just more exciting.
Well, he's
And
a
I think
showman.
Biden also doesn't have a large enough group. Because there's the AOC group, there's the Bernie Sanders group, and they're all supposed to be uniting for one group, but they can't get out of each other's way.
I'll agree with you.
Tonight, I had friends that just flipped. They said, "Oh, he doesn't agree with what Sanders agreed with that we were supposed to agree with, so we're jumping ship." Other people were pissed off because they voted early. Now they can't change their vote to Trump now because they already sent their vote in.
I mean, it's... I don't know. I'm a person that definitely said, and again, I told that, I said it even tonight, that I'm going to give both candidates an opportunity to get my vote. And I will watch. Again, I fully admit I have a leaning. I am leaning towards President Trump. I think that he has kind of won me over in the last 4 years of getting things done. There's an awful lot of shit that I really like. I messaged V-Love right before the debate starts. There was breaking news where a team in Australia has now nominated President Trump for a third Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, that happened earlier this day.
Yeah, it was right there. That didn't come up at all. You would think that, hey, a 15-second congratulations on your third nomination for a Nobel Peace Prize in 2 weeks maybe should come up a little bit.
But on the same side, and I'm conservative, I'm from Texas, but I'm kind of proud of the fact that Fox News put a moderator in there to represent them that was able to not be
Biased.
He was certainly biased.
If he was biased, but he was not biased in the way you would expect a Fox News contributor to be biased.
Like CNN would have hosted it. It'd been
Oh God! Which
I mean,
I
sometimes I get tired of winning, but
I mean, not that it's going to matter to anybody. It's not going to change anyone's vote or anything like that, and they're not going to probably even register in their mind. But I'd rather him did what he did tonight instead of going up there and throwing up softballs to Trump. I didn't want to see that.
Exactly.
I'm
Well,
glad
and
that he
he's
didn't do that.
Yeah.
definitely not a like if you watched him. Yeah, and I don't know him personally, obviously, and I have not watched his anchor very much. Definitely would not say he's a right wing guy.
No, not at all.
But he.
No, he's just a Republican, but he's like
I
more of a
don't
moderate.
think he's a clear Republican.
I think he's a moderate.
Like I
I would
was.
say that if
I
you
was-
look back about a month ago, he did a private interview with Trump. That was not very friendly to Trump in just the interview itself. It pissed Trump off a bit, but it made it pretty obvious in that instance there that he was not going to just be
Yeah.
a typical Fox.
Which is
individual.
good. It's fine. I'm not having any problem with that. I'm just saying that it was clear as the evening went on that he was not a Trump fan, which is also fine and good. But it certainly became such where he was downright. He became the third debater on that stage, and he was certainly playing cover for Joe Biden in numerous situations. Like, he would continuously call Trump out for interrupting, but not anything at all for Biden just straight up name calling.
But I think he did that. Biden, if Trump would let him talk enough, he would put his foot in his mouth. I think he was
I
like-
don't
like-
disagree with
I
that.
think he wasn't going to have anybody call his shows tomorrow and be like, "Oh, Wallace just picked on Biden." I think he was given plenty of time to just cut his own throat.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't
do
disagree,
you guys
but
know who's going to be the moderator for the other side?
They've been announced yet.
Oh, probably Anderson Cooper or something like that. There.
I would not be surprised. I genuinely like Anderson Cooper.
I don't like him at all.
I think every once in a
like
while he
Lyndon
gets a little
or
cray
Cuomo.
cray, but you know what you kind of getting with him. You know, and I don't mind that. I don't mind somebody have a particular leaning or whatever, or ask be kind of one way or the other, and then but they're pretending to be neutral. Oh, I'm just being neutral. No, you're very not being neutral. It's
There's
very
a question I
clear.
have for everybody in the chat, because Sam already talked about it before. like Don Lemon's black and he's gay, and he always talks about like he's not friends with any of his white friends or other friends anymore because their political view, and how white people are racist or born racist. But he's married to a white man. Now, I don't know. I think it would make me feel like shit. Like if my girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever was African American and they were saying how they hate white people, because what does it reflect upon me? Like, am I just some racist who decides to date outside my race? Because why? Or do they have no respect for me? Like, why do you hate every white people, but now you like me only because I'm your significant other? Like, that doesn't sit right with me. That makes me think like they're full of shit again. Like someone's like not speaking the truth. Are you speaking the truth just for political shit? That you're married to a white person, but you're saying how you white people are racist and you hate them? That makes no sense.
He asked you guys.
I stay out of racial talks.
That's a fair
No,
answer.
I agree. I think that would be a pretty shitty thing. That'd be a shitty pill to swallow. You know.
That's what I'm saying, like Taylor, like Clap, so your wife is black, and she's like, hey, white people are racist, but you're white. And she's like, why are white people racist? So I'm your husband.
Right.
Why would you marry a racist person if all white people are racist?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that'd be a pretty hard pill to swallow. You know, like.
Because wouldn't that be something you have a conversation with in the beginning of your relationship? Like, by the way, I don't trust all white people. I think you're all racist, but you're the exception. And it probably wouldn't be a good relationship. Probably wouldn't go any further than what you were at that point. So, I don't know. I always wondered that because I don't know.
So people can kind of like get a clarification on the stream here. I definitely think that certain individuals they're definitely in the lunge of or the middle of this kind of new thought process, or maybe it's an old thought process where they this critical race theory or whatever it is that's kind of coming to the forefront again is it's kind of rearing its head, and they're trying to like get with what they believe is like caught up with the new science or the new theory or whatever. So they're definitely kind of having these moments where, oh, you're not one of the people that are like that. I know you. I love you. You've showed me every day that this is not in your heart. But those guys, you know, they haven't proven that to me, and this is what the science kind of shows, or you know, whatever it is that they're basing their beliefs off of, and therefore they can kind of make some of these comments, not necessarily in good faith, but in better faith, I guess. But yeah, I do have a hard time putting everybody in a basket at all. You know? Like, I like to say in general people are good, but I also will say at the same time, like, in general people are terrible. So, like, you get it both ways. Like, you get both halves of everything. So, you know, you're going to have some racist white people, you're going to get some racist black people, you're going to get some racist Asians, you know, and that's, I don't want to say that's okay, because it's not. You shouldn't be judging people based off of the color of their skin. But at the same time, like, do you really have hate in your heart? Do you really? Because if you do, this is not the place that you should be hanging out. You know what I mean? Like, the other day, I was literally talking to somebody, and I asked them if they were a racist. And they said, yeah, sometimes. And I'm like, well, then you probably don't want to hang out here, because I don't like racists. You should get out. You know? And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. Like, no, I'm recognizing my racism. I don't care. That's not how it works. If you have hate in your heart for somebody for no other reason than the color of their skin, then we can't be friends. That's not something that I can just overlook. You know? And is it going to cost me money? I don't know. Maybe. So I don't know if racists come in here all the time, and when they hear that, they might.
Then there's bigotry too. There's
There's
that.
immigrants from Uganda and Afghanistan.
But like, it's just a matter of you guys gotta kind of rationalize these things differently and better. Hey, you getting to bed?
Yeah.
Have a good night, sweetie. Heal you Dorcas. I'm gonna have to drag the aggro off of this person. Alright, got it. I don't know, it's weird times, man, when these are the kind of things that people have to think about and spend time thinking about. Where, I swear, I could have... Growing up, I don't think I thought about somebody's race hardly at all. I'll tell you the one, I mean, there's a couple of times, I'll admit, that I did think about race. And it's because there was a girl that I thought was very attractive. And we would talk and hang out, and it was fun and fine. And I remember asking her one day if she'd ever date a white boy. She happened to be black. And she told me she would, but she could never bring him home to meet her parents. And that's where I was like, oh man. And that was the only time. Like, that was the factor that kind of, I never asked that girl out.
Yeah, I knew someone like that. There was a friend that I had in high school that her mother only dated black men. Like, she's a white woman. She only dated black men, and she's like, well, I hate racists. And I'm like, well, would you ever consider dating a white man? And she's like, no, because I only date black men. And I'm like, well, you know, like, you're saying that you wouldn't date someone based on the color of their skin. Like, that seems pretty racist to me. Like, if that's what you're, you know, if you're just not into white people.
Well, and that's probably what she was trying to say. She just probably said it in a way that was not...
And it's possible, you know, it's possible that I read into it, but I've never seen her show any interest in the white man, and she talks about how, you know, a majority of white people are racist and things like that. And it's just like, well,
Well, does that come into more as a bigotry than a racist thing? You know what I'm saying?
possible, yeah.
Because maybe she was like, I like white people, they're great, I'm white myself, but I'm still not interested in dating them. More of it is a bigotry than it's more of a race, they're useless, they just need to die, go away.
Yeah.
DDO Central says Biden looked like he was nearly ready to fall over. I made a comment early on that his eyes were so glazed and shiny
Mm-hmm.
that he was clearly on something. And there's a couple of times, and you could almost see it wearing off, in my opinion. I made an Adderall joke earlier.
His hand movements were all going slower too. In the beginning, they were all fast paced. They started slowing down.
Yeah.
I also noticed that he did an awful lot of fidgeting with a pen,
And yep.
and I kept thinking, there's no, why does he have?
In the last 20 years and everything.
I was just like, why does he have a pen?
And then when Trump brought up the crime bill thing, he shit himself too.
That's a normal thing for candidates to have like a pen because they'll like write down notes of like.
They didn't write anything. The cap never came
Yeah.
off the pen.
He was just flicking it.
That's why he had a pen, was to take notes. He just didn't utilize it for what it was supposed to be.
I think it's because he had some sort of textual grasp thing going on, where as long as he had something to fidget with.
But, yeah.
What goes back to the Civil War?
Pen and taking notes.
I guess. Hey, Gordo, welcome to the stream.
It's like when Trump did the thing about being a xenophobe, or how the crime bill '94, how he was calling them predators. It's like now you finally got a dose of your own medicine, Biden. If you want to call him a racist all the time, well, there you go. In '94, you talked about on C-SPAN. He was talking about, he goes, if my mom was in the street causing a crime, if they could take sticks and bats to her, that'd be fine. She's a criminal. And that's her own mother. So if he didn't care about his own mother, he sure wasn't going to care about African Americans or Hispanics during that crime bill that he was all done for. Like Trump even said, those people didn't forget that you're the one who signed off on that bill.
Yeah, I go to Sunday, I take it back to communion and all that.
Hey, Gore, I don't think we're having the same conversation, man. Maybe,
It's about Catholics, about being a Catholic.
but that's not what we were talking about then. I don't know. I just try to follow a little closer, bud.
Or are your eyes glazed over?
Yeah. Were you hanging out with Joe Biden before the debate? Getting some special sauce?
And just think about it, next week they'll be in Salt Lake. That's a 3-hour time difference from where Biden's usually from, so he's probably even more tired, glazed over.
Well, I think I'll give Biden a lot of slack on, like, okay, so DDO Central wanted to point out that Biden kept repeating the same phrase twice in a row. He did it many times. But when he was constantly being interrupted, so I've done that. Like, I'm gonna give him slack on that one. I'm not gonna give that one, like, trying to pick up my thought again where I left it off, being interrupted. I wish, to be fair on both sides, I wish Trump would shut up and let Biden talk, because on one hand, he definitely would have ended up, I think, not slitting his own throat per se, but I think he definitely would have talked himself into a circle that you could have then went, did anyone understand what that meant?
Right.
And instead, he wouldn't stop attacking, and it didn't look very good. So
I put in the political chat, but I don't think either one of them would do it.
yeah, well, that's just it. And the winner of this particular debate were the people who didn't watch,
Exactly.
because no one had the ability, in my opinion, to actually put forth anything. Like,
Well, I think that Biden lost some of those far left. They got pissed whenever he did the Green New thing, like we talked about earlier. But I think also that Trump may have lost a lot of the female vote, especially the suburban female vote, with just his actions of being so verbose and so
yeah,
aggressive.
but I think that he's gonna win a bunch of those back when people, especially once the Supreme Court hearings begin. Because what's going to happen is that they're going to be like, look, President Trump put me up. I'm a mom. I'm just like you. I love my family. I love my church. I love my community. He supports strong women. Yada yada yada. He's had more female cabinet members than any other president in history. Like, he's going to win those people back, I think, or at least to a different degree, because they're just going to attack this poor woman every way they can.
Oh, Kellyanne Conway?
No,
How Biden threw her-
Amy Conant Barrett or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So he may have lost some additional support of people he didn't already have right now with the females in the suburbans, the suburban moms, right? Like, he may have lost some of that, although I don't think he's really had much of an opportunity to get in with that group. But he's going to
soccer moms I know are on his side by 100%.
Yeah? Well, he's going to regain, I think, a whole lot more of them when they start attacking ACB. Which
And then like how Biden threw Conway under the bus.
Yeah,
So
I
she
don't
says whatever.
know if that's true. Like, I have not heard that
I've
quote
never heard her
before.
come out and say anything to anybody. So if she's told him something off the record, he just burned that bridge. You know, she'll come out and blast him like in the public a couple days saying, "I didn't say any of this. He's lying." And so make him look even more bad that you're attacking a woman who's out of a job because she doesn't have a job anymore.
Well, she retired.
Well, you know what I'm saying though. It just looks so bad, like you're why attacking a female. Well, like supposed to be for females.
DDO Central feels that the debate hurt Biden. It's now clear he's a mummy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I mean, I haven't considered that. I really think
He's a Methuselah.
I was thinking
Look, man,
that.
I had to learn Dari. Because
Anyway,
Sorry.
so I don't know. Gore, I think we're gonna have to ask you to have the rest of the evening off, man. You're nowhere near the conversation, and I'm playing
Dari
20
is
questions.
a language that comes from Afghanistan.
Okay.
It's really,
And
I think his mic's cutting out too. I can hear it kind of bubbling sometimes.
yeah, I mean, I'm not upset. I'm just saying we're making logic leaps here that I just don't understand where you're getting from A to B, and then kind of pulling the conversation to the side. So you're welcome to hang out, but unless you can really tune into the conversation that we're having right now, you might need to take a little bit of a break. All right, so let's take a look at this this picture that. Do a mashup of Biden's picture from the debates and Lenny Cheney as the mummy. They are twins.
Well, think about people like Pelosi, totally on the side of that Green New Deal, all this stuff there. Now Biden saying it's not my deal. I have the Biden deal. He just burned, I think, some bridges tonight. That what are they going to do? What are they going to come out and say tomorrow, or the next day? His vice president, they're going to be like, no, he is on our side. Or are they going to say, no, he's not on our side? Now your cabinet's messed up. Your president and your maybe soon-to-be vice president can't get on the same page this late in the election.
I think what they're going to say is we're confident that we can convince Joe to join us when the time comes.
But I'm a voter, and I don't want to hear that 30 days from election. You should be on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, arguments
You know what I'm saying?
get had and whatnot all the time, man. Like, people, I don't mind if someone updates their information or change their mind or updates their opinion or whatever, as long as they can point to the reason why they do it.
But that's not like, oh, I like cats, you like dogs. I forgot they didn't like one or the other. This is like a big thing that's costing taxpayers a shit ton of money over these 30 years they want to do.
Yeah.
It's a big part of what they're talking about. So
I don't
one now is
disagree.
saying, I'm not agreeing with them. And the ones are saying, well, this whole 6 months, what have we been campaigning for if you don't agree?
Yeah.
It just looks bad. It looks very bad.
It does. It does look bad, and it is bad. But at the
So
same
I want to know
time,
what they're going to come out and say. What can they come out and say to make me go, oh, now I get it? No, there's nothing they can really say, unless they got to come out. What it's either them versus him, or he's going to come out tomorrow and go, oh, I made a mistake. I really do like it.
But-
Like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
I suspect what we're going to end up getting is we're going to end up getting a response along the lines of like, you know, Kamala is going to come out. I think that's how you say her name. I can never.
Kamala, yeah, it's Kamala.
Kamala.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to say it wrong, because I don't want to be accused of being a racist. I just always think of her name as Harris. But
Well, it's her election. Yeah, Harris.
I think what they'll do is if they get called on it, which would involve the press having to call Joe Biden on it, which seems unlikely. But if they do get called on it, again, I think they're just gonna say, like, oh, we're still kind of hashing out the defined details, but Joe is the boss, and ultimately at the end of the day, what he says goes. You know what I mean? Like
But it's in their memorandum. It's in their party guidelines what they want to do as president. It's in there. It talks about it. It's in there. I read it. I saw it. It's
Yeah,
like on the 28th page or something.
like I said, that's why Trump keeps bringing it up.
Yeah, like the healthcare stuff. My insulin has gone down. My insulin, my insurance pays for it, but it was like $480 a month. I pay like now $125 a month.
What? You're crazy. That didn't happen.
No, it did.
No, you're crazy, man. That's been. Oh man, it was great. I on Facebook, somebody was saying something. I'm like, Joe Biden just no matter what happens, Joe Biden has said that has been debunked or goes to name calling. Right? Which I don't mind if he thinks something's debunked or whatever, but he's literally debunking his own webpage basically. And it's like, no man, that is literally what's going on. You are arguing with yourself right here.
Or like the violence in the streets and stuff. It's like, what does he say? It was on Trump's watch. Well, when Trump wants to do something, you say he's putting gas on the fire and he's for diversity because those governors and mayors don't want to do anything.
Yeah, but if it was flipped, the conservatives would say the same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, I hate that argument
Right.
because it's like,
But there's the thing though, like as a mayor, your first priority is to protect your citizens and the property. So no matter what side you're on, if you're not doing that for your people, that just looks bad on your party.
yeah, or who's to say that's what's actually happening? They could be taking actions that they feel like is going to protect their citizens. Who's to say
Like
that Portland would be worse if if liberal governors were not taking the actions in which they were taking? Who's to say that? I can't say that.
Portland's police commissioner has been on news. I watch their local news all the time. He's in there one day in tears saying, "We're forced to stand there and guard a certain area, but we can't go in there and police the people that are damaging the buildings." And then Oregon's governor tried to make the state police to send them back in there, and they said they refused to go because their communities are now being harassed, so they can't leave their communities. So they're basically telling us like we can't do anything. They're not letting us. And when they turn around and arrest people, they let them out the next day.
I mean, it's
So-
definitely a complicated situation. I
My buddy's the blacktop. He gets shit on his car and they call him a pig all the time. And he's a racist piece of shit. He's an Uncle Tom, they call him. He's a blacktop. He's like, they
Yeah.
can't even help these people. And they want to call 911. I'm just like, help them.
yeah, you are, because you said you would, and I hope he
Well, I
does.
understand. No, yeah, but he's saying it's funny that I'm African American and they want to call me want me to quit my job as police officer. I'm an Uncle Tom, but then they want your help at the same time. So it's like they don't even know what they want.
Well, it's just like that. All cops are racist now, right? So, in these cities like Detroit, Chicago, etc., where they have majority police forces,
Baltimore, yeah.
Baltimore, etc., they're just. That's how it is, man. That's just their. Right or wrong, whatever, doesn't matter. That's the mindset that happens.
It's like today, me and Sam talked about that, about the Supreme Court. If it was the role reversal, the Dems would be like trying to push in their justice. But like Trump even said, he goes, "It's my legal right to do it. I'm president for 4 years, not 3 years and 4 months."
Again,
So-
things are not the same as they were 4 years ago. Trump has every right to nominate. So did
Exactly.
Biden, or yeah, so did not Biden.
Oh.
So did Obama.
Obama.
Which, let's well remember, he did nominate.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They all nominated. It just so happens when the the Senate and the presidency are not of the same party, things tend to not to go forward. And there are two ways that things don't go forward. Either we're not even going to schedule a vote, or we're going to vote them down. That's happened 10 out of 8 times in an election year.
Yeah.
Man, the
Or
Sean
8 out of
is
10 times.
So loud.
Yeah, Sharn is insane.
I'm trying to concentrate on what you're saying, but all I can hear is just the loud, obnoxious Sharn music in the
I
background.
know, it's so bad. So, like, it's just... It really is kind of disappointing, some of that kind of, like, weirdness that goes on in there. I don't know, I just...
I've been a civilian when there's Democrat and Republicans in office. And I'm like, just the hand you get dealt. It's like, I gotta go, like, kind of like, so what do? I can't, like, don't nominate your justice that you want. Well, it's your legal right to do that. You didn't break any laws, so I can't, I'm like, what do you want me to do?
You know?
That's like Trump said. There's a benefit between winning and losing.
Yeah, people decided 4 years ago what was going to happen.
Biden kept saying, vote, vote, vote. Well, they already did vote, and he voted, he won. So it's his choice to do it, and he's doing it. So you can't now have like a revote.
I mean, we're getting ready for the revote. But
But he's talking about like don't do it. Supposed to have like this compassion. It's like no, because if it's role reversal, you do the same thing. You did the same thing.
and you said the opposite thing. Like
Exactly.
your argument 4 years ago was you should do it. We should have a thing. Which again, I personally would probably not confirm until after the election, but it might be the day after the election. It may be November 4th. I schedule the vote to confirm, and just be like, hey, look, this is how it's going to be. You guys can't confirm. No one's going to step down. Well, we're just going to assume whatever we want and vote.
Like he even said, they gave me 128 seats to fill. They didn't fill them.
Yep.
Because they thought that else would be the seat.
That's the thing. Like I told my sister, she's super left wing, and I said, you thought it was funny 4 years ago. You guys were all laughing, key, and I said, this guy could win. No, he can't. I said, I'm telling you, he's got a lot of support. People are tired of the same old politicians, man. He might win this. No, he won't. I'm like, okay. Then he won. They weren't laughing. I told her like 2 months ago, before we had our last big fight, I said, you guys think you're funny now, laughing? Oh no, we're not taking it serious. I'm like, oh no, you think it's gonna be if you're gonna walk away in a landslide? Watch this stuff happen again. You lose again. Then what? Whose fault is it? Somebody else's fault. It's never your fault. Never Hillary Clinton's fault for fucking out.
Yeah, it's... Again, I don't know. I think that this is Trump's election to lose. And if he can easily make mistakes just as well as Joe Biden can make mistakes. And
Like boxing though, man. To beat the champ, you gotta beat the champ. You can't just show up there and go even with him. You gotta beat him.
Yeah, and I really feel like that was going even. I don't feel like either person cleanly won. I don't think either person lost in tonight's debate. I honestly didn't expect Joe Biden to go the whole time. So in that regards, I will give Joe Biden some points. And like I said, I ended up agreeing with him on a point or two. I ended up agreeing with Trump on a couple of points. I was very turned off by the constant badgering. I didn't think it... Like, the first 15 minutes, I was like, oh man, this is going to be great. And then it after the next 15 minutes, I was like, ugh, this is not what I want to see. See, DDO Central feels like he won the debate. I don't think anybody won the debate. I really don't.
I think
Trump won the talking point better.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
Well,
like
I mean, hear about media in the next few days is not about what the talking point was actually said. All you're going to hear about is how things were said, the delivery of the
Right.
speech.
Exactly.
That's all.
and
Like,
people.
Biden didn't attack Antifa, and Trump didn't attack the white supremacists. Blah blah blah. Like that stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like Trump probably thought he handled that situation, and then he got interrupted right in the middle of his response and shifted his train of thought. I think.
And then Biden switching spots again, saying he didn't want to defund the police. That's not true. That's what he's talked about for the longest time. No, he wants to have.
It's a slight. It's not what conservatives are saying. Conservatives are saying it's a full defund, like AOC and the radical left.
Yeah, take your prisons away and blah blah blah.
Wanting a reallocation. It is a slight defunding, but it's not a complete defunding. But he's wanting a reallocation of funds.
Well, they tried that in New York, $100 million. That's what happened. Their crime spiked up. They took all
Well,
the
I'm not
officers
saying
off the
he's
street.
right. It's just
No, I understand. Yeah.
interpretation of what he's wanting.
But they got to come out and say this is what they mean. They can't just say like, defund this, like they agree, and then like ride that, and then they get called out on it. Now they have no answer. Like when he told them, name one police organization that's backed you. He couldn't name anybody because he knows they just don't because my police friends think that he does not give a shit about the police at all. He just cares about the BLM movement. That's where most of his voters come from.
Well,
Yeah,
he
as
was
a
talking
sergeant, I
about-
say lock up in the morning, you better lock down and load.
when he was talking about tonight with the like, oh, we should have like trained medical professionals to go and like talk to these people like when they're the cops are responding. Like I just think that's just such a dangerous
Exactly. You have
dangerous quote,
you have a 5'2", 115-pound little Hispanic lady out there with a clipboard and her glasses on. There's like a domestic violence. There's a weapons drawn. What is she gonna do?
Yeah, and like on top of that, like it's gonna slow down the already long response rate because now they have to go and get the medical professional to go with them to answer a domestic dispute call or something like that. It's just such a bad.
And now with this, she gets too close to the perp that's having the domestic violence. She wants to calm him down. She gets too close. He snatches her up in a headlock and knocks her throat now.
Yeah.
Now what? Now you got to talk him down from killing the social worker that shouldn't have been there in the first place. She could be there, but have her hang out in the car, and the cop kind of gets in his calm, then she can kind of come in, and the guy's maybe dead off.
Who knows?
Maybe his weapon or his knife or his calm down is gone away. Now she can talk fine, but
Well, like they act like cops don't get any kind of training for things like that, which is completely and totally untrue.
well, they do.
So,
I know.
yeah, like my cousin is the lead sheriff in Riverside County right now, and he gets like training every year on like how to handle domestic disputes, how to be diplomatic,
I mean, they have the hostage negotiators. That's what they do. They learn all these things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
But
think.
I think this way here. Instead of having the police work like 6 days a week, have them work 5, and that one day they're supposed to go to work, that's their training day.
Yeah.
Physical, mental training, whatever it is, that's it. So they work 40 hours. They're not working 96 hours a week, and they're training every week. And then and you get 1 weekend off a month. So every police officer gets 1 weekend off a month. They can rotate their shifts. So that means they're not stuck working shitty shifts, being miserable all the time, working overnights on the weekends and crap. And then there's your training. Like, hey, next week, me and like the North Precinct, we're going to be rotating shifts because the South Precinct is to be doing Fridays their training day.
Yeah, the problem is going to be how are you going to pay for
That
this?
way you're not defunding anybody. You actually probably hire more officers.
Well, you'd
more
have
jobs.
to. Like I say, you have to hire a bunch of stuff. You got to hire a bunch of training personnel. Like it.
But they're already going through training. It is. You just have.
Yeah, but they're.
One, you're having to go to seminars. Every weekend there's a seminar somewhere in California for police training. Be it domestic violence, be drugs, be it this. So they're all going to training.
Sure, but
There you go.
the problem is that the training's usually, for most training, there's like a maximum number of occupancy. The teacher can handle this many students or whatever. So now you're tripling or quadrupling that amount of, probably even more than that. So now you got to be like, all right, well, we need more training materials, more training staff, bigger facilities, something. It's gonna cost money, which is fine. I don't mind.
That's fine, but they're
people
getting less stress at work. They're getting more training, which everybody
Sure,
wants.
but
Everybody
now
wants more
who's
training
paying
and
for
less.
it though? That's my question. Like, that's the thing. People.
They sure there are problems on me, but I found the spy. And we found something allowed to be thrown in the ocean.
I want some of that. Whatever you do, I want it.
I don't know. I'm just about ready to move him into the AFK channel. Like, he hasn't said anything offensive, but it's just not in here.
Oh, I'm looking.
Just tease it. Or maybe you're supplying him something,
I don't know. I just
man. That's
I-
funny.
oh
But I
man.
think my suggestion, I think, is good. Like as a
I'm not
taxpayer,
saying it's bad.
If that's no, I agree. I'm saying that that's going to make it better and make everybody more happy, and it could do positives. I'm okay with taking one more 18th of a cent.
Well, that's just
to
it.
that.
It's probably a massive increase. I would guess. I would assume you're basically talking about at least doubling, if not tripling, the police budget. Which again, I'm not against. You know,
So
I'm
LA County, they Gavin just chopped their budget $100 billion, or $100 million. So that's 70 cops taken off, and that's the hours are cut by the officers.
yeah. I mean
Instead
that.
of cutting that, they could just took that money, and you know they don't even have body cameras. They can't afford body cameras.
That doesn't sound very good.
Y'all should ask Drew his opinion on Newsom.
Newsom is like the worst thing that's ever happened to California.
See, my sister like loves him. He's the greatest.
No, he's a fucking
I agree. I don't like him. I mean, and then Losi too. Let me go get my hair cut, but the rest of us common folk can't get a haircut. You know,
Dude, every time he starts talking, I just want to punch him in the face. Like that's he just has a very comfortable face.
I agree. You know, they all took pay raises, and then finally they had them take them out of their last checks. But for 3 months, they kept taking their raise.
Oh, and he says, oh, like California doesn't have the we don't have the funds to kick in for this unemployment that
Yeah.
has.
Yeah, exactly. But they canned all that. They let go all those prisoners from the LA County Jail, 8,000 of them, and 1,100 of them were convicted rapists.
They just announced that they're closing DVI in Tracy, which is
What?
like,
It's been there forever, man. My buddy Dell he's a CERT officer from there.
if they're closing it next month.
Where are all those prisoners gonna go? All the other prisons just gonna shell them out? Well, it's Gavin Newsom's fault that San Quentin got all those COVID cases because he took all those prisoners from Susanville and didn't have them checked or screened for COVID and sent them to the prison, and now the
Where
prison all
are
got
you
it.
going?
You know, but who cares if the death row inmates get COVID? But it's just funny that it's supposed to be so precautionary, right? Make sure everybody's tested, social distance, but you just emptied a prison, sent all the
Well,
inmates to the prison.
my
got them all-
general was a doctor from California, and I will do anything he says.
He's a good man. Then.
I don't know. People they have their teams. They're gonna rah. And when you point out stuff on either side, if you can't point on this somebody, you can't in this current political age point out flaws on somebody else's team.
Well, why can't people look at a flaw? If someone brings information to you and goes, "Wow, shit, I didn't know that." You're like my sister. Based on my sister, right? Best example. She's gay. I didn't vote for Obama's second term because I found out that he wasn't for gay marriage. My sister's gay. She goes, "I didn't know that." I go, "How did you not know that? This is like one of your champion president that you love so much for the common folk, and he doesn't believe in gay marriage." You know what I'm saying? So like me as being a loving brother, thinking I'm not gonna support somebody who doesn't support her, and the whole time she supported somebody who doesn't support any of her shit.
A lot of people, like, I find that a lot of Americans now, they don't do the proper research on their candidates, and they go, oh, well, he's a Democrat, and Democrats believe in gay marriage, so he must be good, you know? And they don't actually look to see where people stand on the issues.
Exactly.
And
Me
they
as a
just
moderate conservative found that out, and I chose not to vote for him because of that. Isn't that weird?
So they just click on the box that says Democrat, and they don't care who it is. You know, like it could be Joe Blow from Kokomo, and they, you know, it's still they click on it.
candidate.
because it's the democratic election. You know what I mean? And that's just what they care about.
I really wish they would do away with the ability to vote party line. I wish you'd have to vote by name, and I wish they'd get rid of the R next to it and get rid of the D next to it.
I agree.
Force people to actually know the candidates. It'll never happen, but I wish that was.
Well, there's so many offices all the time. It's not very practical. I mean, I understand the desire to want to do
But
that.
take it a step further. And have these candidates list. Give them 5 or 6 bullet points that they want to put on the ballot. I'm for this. I'm against this. I'm for this. I'm for that. Just, I don't know why we can't do that other than it's just not.
Or how about random questioning? Aren't you able to email a candidate and go, what do you think of this? And be able to put that online, saying, look, this is what he thinks. Like, for example, like Gavin Newsom. I voted for him, but I found out 3 months after he got elected that he repealed the death penalty. I'm for the death penalty. But during his whole campaigning, he never brought up the death penalty one time.
Right.
Why would he?
If I would have known, but I'm saying if I would have known that, I probably wouldn't have voted for him.
Sure.
So if you're gonna go change, if I'm gonna be a candidate and I'm gonna go change a bunch of stuff, I'm gonna sure let my people know what I plan on changing.
Yeah.
No, because you don't get elected by changing, by telling people you're going to change things. You get
But for
elected
someone
by
like me,
maintaining the
that
norms.
works.
Yeah, but
Like,
I
that's a
believe he
huge-
is, Arna.
That's a huge thing.
Because now you're costing the state millions of dollars in like housing for people that
And
they
food
could
and-
be dead, but they're not. You know what I mean?
It's not like he's changing the jaywalking ticket from $10 to $5. I mean, this is a big thing. So you should have that much, like, if you want me to vote for you, now I would never vote for you again, so you just lost me. If you were honest in the beginning, then I may have voted for you twice. But give me that option. Don't be a jack-off and be shady.
But again, that's why these people can live in Congress for like a zillion years. Is because they
Look, man,
don't.
There's a reason they gave me a stripes, bro.
Right on.
Because if they make a change, which is why Congress refuses to actually get anything done. Because if they make a change, it hurts them. Doesn't matter what the change is, whether it's a good change or a bad change.
But then why do they even politic on certain ideas if they're worried it's going to change anything? Then why just say nothing?
Because you have to tell people that you're going to do something, but you don't actually do anything. Because if you do something, then they don't like it.
So that's the thing. It's like a guessing game. Just have a box with a question mark instead of a picture. Input yes or no. Do you vote for him or not? I mean, like it's like some of these people that voted for Obama, man. I remember watching that video. Howard Stern did it. They were given the policies of McCain. What's her name? Switching them back and forth, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, I'll vote for that. I love that idea." And it's like, dude, that's not even what their policies are. It's like the opposite.
They don't care.
They don't even know what they're voting for.
You get all of that stuff. Like, you could watch either one. You can watch Joe Biden. You can watch videos where they're like, "Oh, this is Joe Biden's new whatever policy," and then list off Trump's policy. People are like, "Oh, that's a great idea." Or, "Oh, did you hear these new racist quotes from Joe Biden?" And then you read off like Trump things. They're like, "Oh, I hate that." They don't care. They'll do both.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's miraculous. It's like you should almost have the and Pelosi say that she wants to change the voting age in California to 16.
Ooh, yeah.
16, man, I was barely even thinking of anything like political. I would just go what my friends would go with. What do you think? I think the guy's got a cool hat. Oh, he's a 49er fan? Sweet, I'll vote for him. Not even knowing that my vote could just fuck up the whole state. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes you win and sometimes you lose at the same time.
Exactly. It's like damn if you, damn if you don't. You just want I just feel like my vote, I want to do the best I can for all my citizens that are citizens like me. For you guys, for my family. I want to make sure I make the best decision. And I'll live with my decision. If it's being a bad one, that's fine. But I'm not going to just gung-ho it and go, oh, because they believe in abortion should be legal or not legal, I got to vote for them, no matter what else. No, I'm going to see, because that might be the only thing I like with them, but everything else might be shit. So why would I want to vote for everything else? No way.
I was going to bed, but I was like, I didn't tell you guys good night. Later, guys.
Have a good night, man.
I don't care. It's cool.
Hey, V-Love, why don't you
Yo.
play that guitar?
Local conversation.
I'm not even near a guitar. I'm out front by the pool smoking a cigarette.
I'm digging in my belly button over some lint. I'm looking for that.
Yeah, does it go boing, boing, boing?
That's kind of sticky and there's kind of gooey. I haven't showered today. You get that
There you go.
belly sweat in your belly button.
There you go.
You
Delicious.
smell it. It smells good. It smells like body sweat.
I'm just like half scrolling through my Twitter feed here, and again, I'm just watching people who watch the debate, right? But they're looking at it through the lens of their team. That's all they focus on.
It's just crazy.
You know, where Joe Biden, one of the times where Joe Biden's like, "Would you shut up, man?" That's not. You don't say that in the middle of a debate, especially a conversational debate.
And especially to your president. You're still an American citizen. He's still an American.
Yeah.
Like, this is the format that you agreed to. Now, again, I agree that President Trump needed to restrain himself,
Yes, dial it back a little bit.
and I think every time that he
Look, man, we
did
have
that,
a red
it was
states,
crazy.
and that's the way it is.
Have a good night, Dido Central, who believes that Trump is going to win, Biden is a mess. But then my Twitter feed is filled with people like, again, taking a dump on Trump, and it's
What are they saying he did wrong? What are they saying bad about it?
the same
He's a
thing I
liar.
said earlier
He's a liar.
that
Democrats and it's that they're Democrats and that Trump is evil because he's not a Democrat.
It's
no,
funny how
there's
they can call people racist. It's like,
there's
I've never heard
specifically-
him say any racist remark in my life.
they're specifically pointing out the fact, like, because he got in the middle of Joe Biden attacked him in the middle of his response of like denouncing white supremacy. He's like, fine, just give me a group, I'll do it, like whatever. And because Biden attacked him in the middle of that, he got sidetracked, right, wrong, or indifferent, and he didn't like get an answer from the moderator, so he didn't denounce any group right then. But he has
But then
literally
it's like-
denounced the KKK and white supremacy like 1,000 times. But
And now with this,
here's tonight,
Biden
people don't
did-
care.
Biden didn't denounce Antifa and that crazy group of people
And he won't.
because that's his voters.
Yeah, he won't.
Right.
But that's the
Yeah.
same argument that people are feeling about Trump and the KKK right now. It's like, oh, those are his supporters. Like, I
not
don't,
tr-
I
not
don't
true.
know. I don't know if that's true. I don't think so. Like, it's
No,
pretty
because-
hard for I would imagine for a KKK member to be like pro a guy who's got Jewish grandkids and Jewish,
Yeah, that's exactly.
you know, but
And married a non-American. You know what I mean?
and didn't Spencer, which is like the only real KKK member that I can even, like, in the day, the KKK members were hated and reviled and disgusted, and people, they kept them secrets. Now they're just like, I'm a KKK member, what are you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? Like,
The old David Duke days.
yeah, you know, and it's like, you're a disgusting piece of S. Yeah, I'll denounce you. Get out of here.
And here's the thing about the Charlottesville stuff. Like what Trump said was like about good people on both sides. It's probably true. My brother is a full-blown racist. Like if he. Could
But
have
that's
it,
not
like,
what he said.
every-
That's not what
Well,
he
this-
said.
I know, but this is what people take it as. Is like, even my brother's full-blown racist who believes like all black Mexican people should all like be burned alive and die. It should be white people only. He still has done a lot of good stuff. My brother still has done a lot of good stuff in life. So I can understand what that mentality would be like, saying just because they have hateful shit on this aspect of their life, they may have done good stuff.
Yeah,
just
but
like
that's,
just like a black lady holding a Black Lives sign and it says "I hate all white people," doesn't mean she's maybe she's done some great stuff in her life.
yeah, I don't know.
Does that make sense?
I understand your logic train. I don't necessarily agree, but like that's the point is that is not what happened. The point is that the president was talking about the tearing statues down argument, and he said there are people on both sides of that argument. And then he
Yes.
goes, I'm not talking about the KKK people. Those people are vile,
Bad.
disgusting, whatever he said. But he literally denounced them right then. But people don't care about that. People only care, like, he didn't do it in this quote. And this is the quote that we're going to take, the 10 seconds that we're going to take and pass around. But you ask people, like, look, okay, well, why don't you watch the 30 seconds before and the 30 seconds after that? and tell me if you still feel like that's what he's trying to say. Because he literally said, I'm not talking about the KKK, those people are disgusting. Right?
No, I agree.
So, to me, it's when people are using that, they're being disingenuous. And for
And
Joe
they're lying
Biden
to
to
me.
be like, oh man, this is the reason why I got in the race. Like, no, it wasn't. You've been in the race every time there's an opportunity for you to be in the race.
And the reason why Trump got in the race is because him and Obama made fun of Trump saying he could win a presidency
Correct.
at that dinner. Remember, they made fun of him.
Correct.
I'm surprised that Trump didn't bring up the whole peace deals, like Middle East
Happy
peace thing.
birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
You know
think.
what I'm saying? That's a big accomplishment. I was waiting for him to bring that out. Say, hey, I haven't done any good, Mr. Biden, like you say. What about this?
Yeah.
Because Biden's been taking credit for, trying to take credit for some of that shit. And Netanyahu in the Jerusalem Free Press, their newspaper a few weeks back, Netanyahu even said that he's had no contact with Biden or anybody from Biden's camp with any peace deals since the coronavirus started.
I mean, to be fair though, Joe Biden and President Obama were directly related.
Oh, they fucked it up enough where it had to be peace.
Yeah, exactly. That's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 100% what happened. So,
You know?
I don't know. It's. I understand people viewing things through the lens of their team. I always call it.
You gotta have some transparency. There's gotta be at least a little bit in there.
But you have-
know what? Maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. Maybe that point is correct. Maybe it's true.
I just hope that someday my friends who are very much rah-rah their team can eventually get around to do things. Because I guarantee you, I voted for Democrats in the past. I voted for Republicans in the past. I typically
too.
vote for Libertarians. Almost always. Like, I would probably say if there's a Libertarian on a ticket, I would probably say 8 out of 10 or better times I probably voted for the Libertarian.
I mean, I try not to be the most guy, but I got the most stripes, and I would vote totally.
But I'm not a person that says that I have to vote my sports team. I was asked the other day, like, are you going to vote for JoJo? I'm like, I can't. I don't think she's a Libertarian. If she was a Libertarian, I would probably be able to, I would vote for her. But I don't think she is. I think she's somebody who wants to run on the Libertarian ticket and get on,
Right.
but I don't think she is a Libertarian.
Here's a question for you. Say Trump wins the presidency. He goes 4 years, wins it, in the 4 years. Who do you think the Democrats are going to have run in 4 years? Who do you think their best candidate would be? You think it's going to be Kamala if they lose?
No, she's
You think
done.
she'll just fade away and be done?
Yeah, this is her. This is the win and you get to stick around. If not, you're out.
What about Klobuchar?
No, I don't think so. I don't know if they have a candidate.
Because I know the Republicans have a few young ones. The guy from Texas, the guy, the war veteran with the patch on his eye, I can't remember his name.
Dan Crenshaw.
Dan Crenshaw, and then Tim Scott's pretty solid.
Yeah, I don't think Tim Scott's gonna run. I don't think Crenshaw necessarily will
People talk about
either.
Tucker Carlson, maybe Trump Jr.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be right away, but I suspect that Trump Jr. will probably at some point run.
Happy birthday,
You got-
Fiddler.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
But
Captain.
I think there's a lot of stars on the right. I don't think there's that many on the left right now that have the kind of
Hot chick from Hawaii, but she's kind of crazy.
Tulsi Gabbard. I really like her.
Just remember, you're not older than me.
I might really like her, except for like one or two issues. Like, she's a
Things are like
candidate.
treason, which is weird.
I'm gonna go AFK for a few minutes. Yeah,
Have a good one, bud.
I'll be
But-
back.
I
but,
was
like,
LAX,
she's-
and I was like, nah.
But she's a candidate that, if she was the nominee, there's I think it would be really, really tied up in my mind. You know what I mean? Because I genuinely like her quite a bit. I could see that. But I think that she's so wildly unpopular, and she and the Clintons have got into it so many times in the past. She's got no chance.
No, I was in a grocery store in Oakland, and you know, they had like bananas.
I can't believe it. Holy crap. Bananas? In a grocery store? Oh, man.
They
Insane.
had very rare fruits from all different things in Oakland, California. No, look, man. Look, it wasn't like that bad. I'll tell you, it was good.
Yeah, Oakland's got a couple nice places, like Oakland Hills is nice, and Jack London Square. That's it.
But my
Yeah,
point...
Tulsi Gabbard is hot, but she thinks everything's treason now. Everything to do with
That's
military. She
the
thinks
thing.
military
If
is.
it involves the military, she basically says it's treason, and that's not what I'm a fan of.
I don't get why is everything treason? I don't get it. I don't know, man. I think people think politics maybe too hard. It's like it shouldn't be that fucking hard.
I was in Oakland.
You ever been to Fort Ord down there by Santa Cruz, Monterey? You guys there? Anybody there?
I'm sorry, I'm typing
Oh, okay.
a response
No, no,
to someone on
that's
Twitter
fine.
here.
I thought maybe my headset died or something.
No.
I don't know. I think like when Trump's in the federal marshals, that the guy who was laughing about it on the Vice News thing, about killing the Trump supporter. I was like, it took 10 minutes to be caught him, done, and it was over. You know what I mean? It just shows that like the local law enforcement can't do their fucking job because the district attorney just turns the lesson back out. You know? To me, it makes that local jurisdiction look inept. Like your mayor's inept, your district attorney's inept. They keep letting people out of jail. They'd be arresting for arson and, you know, murders.
So here's a point, right? Here's a person. There's a DDO person who tweeted out a statement along the lines of Chris Wallace asked Trump point blank to condemn white supremacist groups such as the Proud Boys, which was not the question. Okay, so this person is adding in the Proud Boys as the group. On the same level, he condemns Antifa, and he couldn't do it. He changed the subject, which again is not how things happened. So I respond back with, the Proud Boys are a mixed race group and is led by a black man, I believe. Not opinion at all, just factually stating a correction to her adding in these details that were not in the debate and are factually incorrect. And she comes back with, this was how it was presented in the debate, which it wasn't. And she goes, nice. Well, actually, Moment was there explaining new fascist to me when the fundamental point was Trump was asked to denounce white supremacy and he did not do so. Okay? And
It doesn't matter how much I try, he will F me up and Magic the Gathering.
So anyway, my point is that these people, they don't care about what they're saying or the facts or anything. They literally just
Make up their own narrative.
correct. They make up everything. Like the whole details. I literally watched it. Was right there in that moment. But that she is saying exactly what I'm saying is going to happen tomorrow.
Did
Right.
you type into her that, what about Biden not denouncing Antifa?
No, I didn't say that at all. What I responded back was he has in the past, and I bet he will again in the future. I bet he will again in the future. And I said I agree that it looks bad that he didn't rattle off a thing right there. But he asked for a group. Like his question never got answered, and he didn't finish his thought. And it's like, look, man, had someone said the KKK, he would have been like, of course, the KKK is trash. I don't know for that for sure to happen, but I imagine that would happen because he has said that in the past.
maybe next debate when the first thing you just say is like to clarify something. All white supremacist groups are trash. They're all horrible. I
Correct.
want their vote. That's what you need to do.
I
No,
agree.
no,
I agree.
right there.
He should 100% say that. But there's a flaw with President Trump, and is going to bite him in the ass if he.
About being told what to do, kind of thing.
No, I think.
The only time that I'm happy if I put solo and we play card to card and I beat you in like 4.
Anyway, so
I'm confused, man. What's going on?
I think that if anybody says they like Donald Trump, right? It doesn't matter if they're right wing, they're left wing. It doesn't mean if they're scummy people or not, right? Kim Jong Il goes, I like Trump. Trump's like, hey man, I like you too. He doesn't think about the fact like, hey, this is a bad guy, right? You know, he's like, that guy likes me. That's all that matters, you know. And that is definitely a flaw that our president has.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good quality. I think it's pretty shitty, but I understand it. So you have to tell him. You have to be like, oh, this group, like this is a person, because he doesn't think of people like that, and he should. I certainly do. Like if someone's like, give me a white supremacy group, I'd be like, oh, you mean like the KKK? And I'd be like,
maybe
man,
that's really how he is. He doesn't think of people as like bad people. He's like I do. That has faith in humanity. Has faith in America.
I don't know if he does or not, but I think that if you gave him an example, he would have responded correctly. But that's
Because he asked that. He's like who? Which group? Tell me
yeah.
the group.
And then he got distracted when Joe Biden
Called him a clown. I think he called him a clown, didn't he?
I don't know if it was right then that he called him. I know he called him a clown a couple of times. I think twice. But this is what people are gonna say. Like, oh, he didn't do that. I'm like, you really believe that he was gonna say that he couldn't? Because he has.
His best movie was
I just want to know what world some people
I
are right
agree.
now in this conversation.
I know, man. I want to be in that world.
But like, it's such a weird moment to me, and this is how they feel. It's just like people like your sister. They're not in the same universe as everyone else is, and they're not just fine with it. They're like super cool with it.
If you do anything like when I tell her all the time, like I don't hear you were condemning the violence. She's like, no one likes it. We just don't want to talk about it. I go, but that means to me like you don't give a shit about it. I always confirm with that. So why it's not as bad as people think. It's overblown. There's not that much violence. It's pretty much over. It's just a few people. I'm like, no, it's not. It's happening in Portland over 100 days. It happened. You know, the other day another person got shot. A couple days ago, another person got shot in Portland over this shit.
Yeah, and
It's just that her news station decides to play it down and not talk about it.
right. And I just want to see people like, for Donald Trump, I think he should be able to go, when someone says white supremacy, he should be like, he had an answer. There was an answer ready. He just didn't get to it. Right? It's like, I literally just made the KKK a domestic terrorist group. He could have said that. He could have said that. It could have taken literally 7 seconds, because he's the first president to do that. You know what I mean? And it would have been like, I just did.
Yeah, think about that. Obama in office didn't make them a hate group.
Correct.
Isn't that funny?
It's like, look, I literally just made these people a hate group. I don't agree with it. I think this is wrong. But he didn't. You know, that would have been the opportunity for him to do it.
The Dems don't ever hold themselves accountable. It's like, you had a black president, and he didn't make
all
the
I know
KKK a
is
hate group.
the best fighter in the world. His name was
Liam Nielsen. He's great in Taken.
He's always going to be my Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, Liam Nielsen's great. He's one of my favorite actors.
I don't know, man. Not on my short list.
Steve McQueen was great.
it
Donald
was
Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland's great.
Christopher Walken.
I can't watch Walken very much.
Nice.
I like him in secondary roles.
Oh, but Liam Neeson was great in Gangs of New York, man. He was great. Oh, Michael Day Lewis, he's a good one.
Like I really
Day
like
Lewis.
I really liked him in the A-Team. I thought he was great in that. The first Taken movie is pretty good.
Also, what do you call it? What's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name now. He played an English patient. He played in Schindler's List. He played Gorham.
Ooh, so many. I don't know if I remember very much about Schindler's List, to be honest. I should probably rewatch that.
He played the evil Nazi murderer. Gorham is his name. He was shooting the people from his balcony. He rode the white horse. I can't think of his name now. He played in what do you call
Yeah,
it?
trainer. He was really good.
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, he trained him.
Stallone's pretty okay. Not
turned
great.
him into a beast.
You know who's actually great? Like literally great?
Jason Valentine.
Hell yeah, it is on his birthday for sure.
Oh yeah.
No, oh my god, now I'm not gonna think of his. I remember his name now. I had it. He's Goldie Hawn's husband. Shit, Kurt Russell.
Oh, Kurt Russell. Yeah.
Kurt Russell, such a great actor. That guy
Mel
is.
Gibson was great. Mel Gibson's always great.
Mel Gibson can be really great. Can also be an anti-Semitic piece of trash. Depends on how many drinks you get in him.
He doesn't. He gets his whole life ruined, but other people can do that, and it's like they're laughing out the rug, which I don't get.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't do what I do. Do what I say, not what I do.
Yeah.
Probably because he like
Yeah,
recorded the Christ,
Oh yeah.
And-
After the Christ, it was a good movie. It was
and
good.
then so then he got to come out as a Christian and therefore get him. But no, he treats his ex-wife real bad. From the things that have kind of come to light, I'm not a big fan of people recording private conversations like that, but
Yeah,
like-
but nowadays in Hollywood, you got CYA, you got to cover your ass, man. 'Cause they'll be shooting you on
Exactly.
the records.
exactly, and he clearly made some pretty big mistakes.
But doing it to be vindictive is different.
Oh, that's what he's.
You know.
Like, I'm trying to remember some of the things that he was saying to his old lady, but none of them were good. Like she hoped that she was going to get raped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's pretty terrible. So, as much as I enjoy Lethal Weapon,
Oh, they're all good. They're all great.
I don't think I could like, and how much Braveheart was a good movie, I don't think I could put Liam Neeson up there. I'm not a person. I try really hard
So Mike
sometimes.
Tyson would like rock somebody up unless he had to.
Sometimes
He's got the Joe Biden sauce.
oh my god, I can't. He's driving me insane. Sometimes like I have a hard time separating the artist from the art. You know, I've said that before. Like Tom Cruise, for example. I have such a hard time watching anything with Tom Cruise in it now.
Because of the Scientology shit.
Well, because of specifically the Katie Holmes jumping on the couch, being
I'm not a
fucking
Katie
crazy.
Holmes fan anyway.
Huh?
I'm not a Katie Holmes fan anyways.
I'm not either. I never was, and I'm certainly not now. Did you watch her in shit, what is that show called?
Dawson's Creek.
I watched that too with my wife years later.
One Tree Hill, whatever. Shit.
Oh man, One Tree Hill's great. Don't you talk shit on One Tree Hill. There'll be fights.
Never saw it.
Oh man, it's good. If you're into
I
like,
was in an Angel and Vampire.
oh yeah. Well, I watched all that stuff with my wife, man.
And
yeah.
X-Files. I was all of that stuff back then.
I wouldn't have watched that stuff on my own.
One person I'll never find his name is Mike Tyson.
I hear Mike
Mike Tyson,
Tyson's tough, man.
He's fighting Holyfield for someone now. Isn't he coming out of retirement? I heard Mike Tyson loves the cock though.
Oh yeah, loves it. Nothing but chicken dinners for days.
And he only likes cock from Wisconsin, so I heard too.
Man, that's really specific.
I think isn't. Oh wait, isn't Gore? Aren't you there in Wisconsin?
I don't think Gore's really here. But
I think he's playing Magic with somebody, and he forgets that we're in Channelsville.
Ray Donovan. Have you watched
Ray
that
Donovan?
show?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
Katie
that's Shreem Leave. He's a Jew from Israel.
Yeah, that guy's great. Ray Donovan has is it Levi Scribinger?
Yes.
Is that his
No,
name?
his uppercuts hit hard.
That guy is fucking great. Like, that whole cast is really
Didn't
good.
he play like Wolverine's brother or something?
Yeah, he was Sabretooth in one of the
There you go.
movies.
I don't know the comics people. I just
Oh
know they
man,
were
he's so good. But that whole cast is 10 out of 10 great. That's another show that I really love for how messed up it is. I haven't caught up with it in a while. But no, Katie Holmes was in there for a
Another
season.
thing about Trump thing I liked how he said
She was
was talking. He didn't get broken up, get interfered with. Was talked about how everybody on the left always thinks that America's like a racist country, hates America, America sucks, everybody's down on I'm glad he pointed that shit out real quick too. Like, hey, America's not full of racist people. We're not a racist nation. We're a great country. We want to be better. We want to be great. Instead of that woe's me left-hand side shit that's just like, America sucks, hate America.
Yeah, I understand. That definitely.
My best friend says, if you don't like it, move.
Yeah, that's just it. They
As
don't.
long as we make money, we will respect all you.
Like when his kid grew up in Israel got really bad, so the family said, we're moving to the States. They didn't move to China. He said they moved to the greatest country there is. They moved here.
Yeah.
He goes, so people in America that say America sucks, don't like America's full of racist people, he said they just move. Pretty simple.
Yeah, you would think so. I don't know, man. There's all sorts of people saying if Trump wins the election, they're gonna leave.
That's fine, then they can leave.
I'm like, good luck.
No one's stopping them.
Well, the other countries got to take them.
But you know what I'm saying. I mean,
They won't go. They won't go illegally, man. They won't go illegally.
So they're just gonna like move to Italy and then their visa run out and they get caught by the polizia there and then release you fucking prison term.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
right.
saying. I'm saying, just go for it.
That's why it's funny, man. That's my one wish. If I had a wish, besides being filthy rich, it would be to make every American have to live overseas for 1 year.
Keep German.
That's in random places. Sam, you're living in Bolivia for a year. Talab, you can go to
Sweet.
Germany for a year. Did it for a year. And
I'm
then
down.
If you get down there for a year, you can move back and say, hey, does America suck? Is it shitty? Oh yeah, you like being able to get those magic cards here for $6 a pack. Over in those countries, they're $20 a pack because they're hard to find. Or this or that.
Oh,
all
I don't know
this
about
stuff
that.
people don't read. There's so
Yeah.
much stuff in other countries that people think, oh, I can just get it while I'm there, that they don't have, and you can't get it. It's expensive. Like, I'm a Diet Pepsi drinker, right? Europe, you don't have
Look,
cases.
man, I got stripes. I have to put you out. It's like that.
So I have to have Diet Pepsi shipped over because they carried over there only in 2 liters and like the 1 liter bottles. I drink it by the can. I drink like 4 or 5 a day. So I got this ship, 36 packs from Costco over to the UK when I moved. Stuff like that. People like they'll think like my girlfriend didn't understand. Like I said, you buy your Levi's here because Levi's over there are very expensive. Oh, mine. So she went online and looked.
But look,
Yeah, it's like
I
4
thought
times the
those
price.
measures cheap, bro. Look,
That's
you know,
what I'm
it's-
talking about.
Hey Gore, I have the feeling that you're not in the right mind. I'm worried that you're gonna say something that's gonna get you in trouble. You haven't said anything yet that's anything except that's just crazy. Do you hear what I'm saying? I don't want you to get in a place where you're gonna get yourself in trouble, man. Right? You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Again, this is where you start to get yourself in trouble. I want to make sure that I'm pointing this out to you, that you don't cross any lines.
Okay, Sam has some okay.
Well, I'm telling you, you're in a weird spot where you're not acting very okay. So either rein it in, or have a pleasant evening. It's your call, bro. You know I'm just looking out for you. Right? This is how you start to get, and then you start saying really bad stuff, and I can't have that.
I'm looking at my toenails. I need a pedicure.
You want to see a real good song for Beatles' birthday?
Yes.
What do you got?
Jukebox Hero.
That's the song. That's your go-to.
It just sounded good for a second.
Okay.
Who doesn't like Bad Company?
Well, that's fair. You and my dad would probably really get along.
Right on.
So, I was sitting down today.
Do you sit on your gonads or make sure you tuck them to the side?
No, I was talking to my old lady. Sorry, I was answering it in Game Tell. I was talking to my old lady, and we were working on trimming the bunny's hair. By the way, if you guys want to check out a picture of Vorpal post weird haircut.
Oh, I saw some picture of a bunny and I was like, I'm not gonna look at it. I thought you had to kill some animal on the screen or something. I didn't even look at it. I just saw the picture.
No, I gave my bunny a haircut.
Well, you were talking about eating my animals, so I was like, oh no.
Well, I mean,
Some poor bunny rabbit on
only if the situation gets really hairy, man. That bunny knows. I actually, speaking of horrible things that you're gonna think is horrible. I was sitting there talking with my old lady. Again, we were talking about you and stuff, and I'll get into the details why. And then I went. My wife goes, you know, my mom's bunny her nickname was Cam because we were talking about you guys. And I'm like, yeah. She goes, I don't know what it was short for. It's probably something really weird because the way my mom always names her animals like this really long thing. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure that's short for Campbell's. That means that bunny's going to be soup in the event that there's an emergency. Oh, she was like, what are you talking about, you fool? And I was just like, come on, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, see? Can't just have a steak in the fridge, gotta go kill an animal.
I mean, not if there's a steak in the fridge, unless I, want to go get more steaks from my fridge.
I saw that picture. It showed some white rabbit in a cage. I go, dude, don't tell me somebody is like gonna murder his bunny rabbit for dinner or something.
No, I literally just gave her a haircut. It's great. Oh, one headlight for V-Love?
Oh, right on. Wallflowers.
Yep.
Jacob Dylan's son. Only song he ever had.
But, I thought you would like it. But yeah, we gave her a haircut today because she needed one. Man, I did not know this about rabbit, that there's because you see rabbits in the wild, you almost always see short-haired rabbits, right?
Yeah, hares.
You, never see a long-haired rabbit here in the United States in the wild, right?
Yeah.
So we went to the store and we bought a cute, fluffy little white bunny as a pet because my wife really wanted a chinchilla, and I wasn't going to shell out $300 for a goddamn chinchilla when she just wanted something fuzzy and cute to hang on to, right?
Get her ferret.
We had ferrets. No, we didn't. My sister-in-law had ferrets when we were staying with there when we were first getting everything started or whatever. And or my mother-in-law had ferrets. Somebody had ferrets, and all I would hear about was how stinky and nasty they were.
Oh, yeah, you get them de-stinked or whatever.
Yeah, but that's also, that's not always a necessary procedure. But anyway, so my wife's not a ferrets person, but she wants a chinchilla real bad for a long ass time. She wanted a chinchilla. So we went to the pet store, and I found this little white bunny instead. What about this? This bunny's great. It's adorable and it's really good with you and blah blah blah. So we ended up getting this bunny. Well, it turns out this bunny's a long-haired bunny. So about 3 or 4 times a year, we have to give that bunny a haircut, right? Otherwise, it just turns into this giant puffball. Really gets uncomfortable, hot all the time. It's long-haired rabbits are for more cold temperate climates, right?
Exactly.
So we have to keep her trimmed up. And so today was haircut day, so I took a picture of the. She was pretty chill today. It took her like a little more than an hour, I think. But she is usually not particularly well behaved. She typically ends up getting herself hurt. Like she'll jump mid scissor stroke or whatever, and like she'll end up getting herself nicked. But today she was really good. Today she was behaving.
Did she get along with the dogs well? They play with her and stuff?
Yeah. Her problem is that if you let her out of the cage and you're not watching her like a hawk, she likes to chew cables.
Ooh.
So, like, she has snipped the internet cord from my wife's computer a couple of times. She's eaten power cables for, like, behind TVs and stuff. So, like, you gotta really watch her or she gets bad. But,
You get those tubes, you put the cables through the tubes.
well, I mean, it's not gonna be a problem too much longer. The big thing is that, you know, she's not feeling very well right now, so I'll have to find out if she even
Uh-oh.
makes it. I think mostly she was probably just really hot from.
Well, make that an excuse to cook her, motherfucker.
I mean,
Oh,
I guess.
Tanya, look at her poor baby. She's got coat. We have to eat her now.
I mean, I guess if she's not gonna behave, she should be dimmed in. It's just how it is, man. Sometimes people are delicious, man.
No way. Never eat my cats.
Yeah. Sweet. Alright, well that will cap us out getting this last reward. Yeah, I mean, I can respect that, but everything on the... I'm one of those people that everything on the food chain below me is... Push comes to shove, I can do it. I'm not a person that's like, this animal's too cute to eat.
I just came back in the house, right? I'm outside smoking for an hour, hanging out by the pool. My sister sent me a text. Trump showed tonight he's a true racist piece of shit, and Joe Biden is a saint. Everybody should love him. Saint Biden.
Yeah, why?
Is that funny? I haven't responded to her.
Yeah, I don't understand. I'm not saying that Biden showed tonight that he was, you know, a particularly bad guy. I certainly didn't think he was a saint.
And telling people like, if you're not black, you can't vote for me.
Well, I
He
think.
just shows racist shit, so I don't get why they think like he's not a racist. I just don't get it.
I mean, I agree. I mean, he
You're
also
gonna
said
vote
things like
for
Trump
Hillary.
pointed out that Biden kept calling people. What he kept saying. Like it's a quote. I forget what it is.
Understand.
Yeah, Biden over the years has said some pretty messed up shit.
I like how, but my sister, we always argue about one thing. I said, hey, how come, you know, it's okay for Biden to lie about like what school he went to and how he fished top of his class and how he plagiarized a speech that it wasn't his. She said, well, I haven't heard about any of that. I try to show her all the time when I'm up in my bomb, and she won't ever look at it. So tonight when he fucking said it on TV, I go, see, you know, I was like, you know, thinking to myself, you know, I was like, my sister's here, I would tell her, you know, like, see, that's what I'm talking about, you know. How he forgot what college he went to. He finished in last in his class, not top of his class at Syracuse. Different stuff. He lied about speech writing and just shit like that. It's like, you know, I don't know. It just bugs me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's a lot of things to not like about Joe Biden, in my opinion. There's a lot of things that I can understand why people do like Joe Biden. Like I said,
If you're gonna be a senator and run for president like 4 or 5 times, why would you lie about stuff that is public record people can find out and go, you weren't first in your class. You were 75 out of 85. You know, you didn't write that speech. That freaking Irish or that Scottish guy wrote it 2 years before and used it in his campaign in Scotland. So you didn't write that speech. Shit like that. It's like, why would you do that knowing you're gonna get caught and then you can't say why you did it, because he never gives a reason why. He just apologizes. But I want to know why you did that. Like, you weren't gonna get found out. Like, why did you do that? So when you don't give me an answer, that means what else are you lying to me about?
oh, probably plenty.
You see where I'm coming? As Mr. Said,
No, I
lying-
get it.
Trump lies about everything. I'm like, well, his opinion about something isn't lying about something. You know?
No, I
Like
agree.
about the sky being blue. I say it's blue green. She says it's blue. Well, you're lying. Well, how am I lying?
Yeah, in the age of this particular age of fact checking, you can find someone to fact check whatever you want, however way you want it to go.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I want facts. Like when you say, like, I wrote this speech, then the news comes out back then and says, sorry, sir, we have a video of the same speech. This guy here said it 2 years ago. It's his speech. You know, it's like you were gonna get caught. You got caught, but he had no excuse for why he did that. He just says, "Oh, that was old. That was a long time ago." That's not good enough. If you're gonna hold your opponent for lying about shit that is an opinion, but you got caught lying about shit in the past as fact, I don't want to hear you say shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's a different. It's just different, man. I don't agree that it's different, but they're gonna tell you it's different.
I mean, talking about his mom getting beat in the street. If she breaks the law and the cops have to put her down and beat her with clubs, then she needs to go to jail. She got what she deserves. I mean, dude, you said that on C-SPAN, playing to say about your 1994 crime bill. How you put all these black people in prison.
One of the best singers I've ever seen is
Lionel Richie.
I like Lionel Richie. Yeah, that's a good one.
I know the worst singer I ever saw is Cameron Page. She can't sing for shit.
Oh yeah.
She's horrible. Now she's trying to sing the song I wrote for her, but there's no music. There's just lyrics. So she's trying to like make, like when I write like there, I have like a sound in my head, like what it kind of could sound like in a way, you know. It sounds like nothing like I thought it would sound like. So she tries to sing it to me. Like today, she's like all apologetic about my birthday, how she was stupid and all that stuff. So we're going on one day of being good so far. So let's see how long this streak will last.
Well, hopefully a long time.
Hopefully forever. That's my goal, forever. Never had to have a single argument ever again. Wedding day comes, her dress will be perfect, food will be great, everything will be happy, there'll be no crying, no someone this, someone that. I already told her, I said, if people show up to the wedding late, we're not holding back. What do you mean? I said, if your stupid sister decides to go out and party the night before, and she's in our wedding, we're not waiting an hour, 2 hours for us to find your sister. You're gonna have another girl's gonna be your bridesmaid. Well, what if your friends said, my friends will be there?
All I know is that Cole Rhodes, you ought to fuck it up.
Okay, I'll go with that. Whatever it was.
I don't know, man. I just feel like I think that sometimes some of the things that you're saying, V-Love, are coming across as like weird ultimatums for her.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't ever give I don't want to give me an ultimatum.
I mean, I'm not saying that necessarily you mean it that way. I'm just saying sometimes I think it probably comes across in a similar manner.
I just look at it like this. Like, if I get married in 2 years from today, and I send you an invitation out, you have 2 years and 1 day to get to wherever the wedding's going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Oof.
If you can't make it there, I'm not going to hold the wedding up just because someone's late. It's not an ultimatum. I think it's just right time. Like, that's why you give an invitation out ahead of time.
Sure.
So people get off work.
Yeah, I'm not.
Now, stuff happens, like a car accident, some weird shit happens. I get it. But
So here, okay, how about this? Let me tell you a story about a friend. Okay,
Tab?
no, a guy you've never met before.
But bro, you can't say Axl Rose. That's fine.
This guy was dating this girl for like 2 years or something, right? And they decide they're gonna move in together, okay? And in the like somewhere in the ballpark, her mother passes away, okay?
Okay.
And leaves her and her sister basically their childhood home, okay? and they live. Her mother was from out of town. Okay, like McPherson or something, right? A town that's not super far away, but close enough they could date or whatever. Okay, they decide they're going to move in Salina, here to Salina, and they're going to get a place so the sister can move in with them, right? And basically what they're doing is they're packing up their mom's house and all the things from there, and bringing it into their new place, and using basically everything from the mother's house to seed the apartment, right, or seed the house, right? So they have like all the pots and pans and furniture, bedding and couches and so on and so forth. I think they ended up selling it. I don't know exactly what happened, but that's not the point. The point is that the point is that they ended up getting into a fight, okay? And she was like, if anything else goes wrong in the house, anything that happens, you're taken care of, right? And he was like, what the shit? Like, I'm not taking on the responsibility of literally everything that could possibly go wrong forever and ever. Like, we're putting a house together, right? I'm not taking on all this. So they end up getting in this fight. And he tells me the story about what happens. I go, man, you just really need to go talk to her. Because I bet you she's not saying what you're trying to say that she's saying. It's like, what do you think? What do you mean? Like, it sounds to me like she's trying to say she's bringing all this stuff into the household, right? And it's a lot, and that she's overwhelmed at the moment, and she wants you to know that you're kind of on the hook for the next couple of things, because she's dealing with her mom passing, she's dealing with her sister being in the house, she's dealing with moving all this crap, and she just feels like all this stuff has happened, and you need to step up and take care of the next couple of things. And he's like, you really think that's what she's trying to say? I'm like, I would almost guarantee it, guy. I would almost guarantee that that's what she's actually trying to say, what she actually wants from you. She doesn't expect you literally to pay for everything else going forward forever and ever. It's like, I don't know. I'm like, whatever, man. Just go talk to her. We're in the process of driving to this Magic tournament when he kind of spilt his guts on me, right? And I'm like, okay. So then he actually goes and talks to her, like I suggested. And it turns out that, as usual, exactly correct. He's like, yeah, I just, like you said, I needed to talk to her and make sure that she and I were on the same page to get things done. I'm like, yeah. So I feel like sometimes you are saying things that you don't mean as like an ultimatum, right?
Okay.
But when you say them, they're coming out as this like weird ultimatum. All right, apparently I did not spell your name correctly. Did I put that W in there? So I've had all this stuff for a while that I've been wanting to just like send you. I'm not sure.
Discord or Facebook?
No, here in game. Just like miscellaneous random ass crap that I think that you
Oh, gotcha.
would use for a while. Like it's,
Cool. I mean, DDO game. Gotcha.
yeah, it's not stuff that like that I would use now, like in my place in the game.
But I would use that on it.
Yeah,
That
so like
sounds weird.
there's like plus 14 to spot, search, and open locks or something, like goggles.
Oh, perfect. Heck yeah, I would love that. I actually need stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, this is something that you would probably... Like, in my career now, I don't need that stuff, but... And stuff that I, like, tried to give away to people over the last couple weeks, and just nobody has bid on it. So anyway, I think some of these, like, you're trying to communicate things like desire, like you just said, like, look, if I don't want to be sitting around waiting on your sister when we get around to getting married. You know, Which is what you're trying to say, in my mind, is like, look, your sister has a tendency to be irresponsible. If she's in the wedding party, we're not holding up the wedding because she's not ready to handle her obligations. Right?
Exactly.
That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
But instead, what's coming across, at least to me, when you said it to me just now, was this better not happen, because it's not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you put an ultimatum out there, whether you actually meant...
Richard just continually just drops the ball, dude.
Well, I'm not
On
saying that
little
she...
stuff. So, but my girlfriend keeps like giving her this pass constantly, and it always I have to handle this situation. I have to deal with it. All right, it's me having to do it. You know what I mean? That's where, like, last week, same bullshit. Her sister screwed up something, didn't pay like her car insurance thing, didn't have enough money. I was like, can you take care of it? Like, what am I gonna do? She goes, well, I'm at work, you should pay for it. I said, yeah, I'll pay for it, not a problem. So, I paid for it for her, and then her sister has the audacity to say, did you pay for my sister? I said, I put it on my card. She said, how about this? I'll just give you money every month for it, just let it take off your card. I'm like, wait, so I'm paying your bill every month while you just give me the cash that you don't have now already? I said, no. So I told Cameron about that. Cameron kind of got upset, like, oh, if she would have given it to you, I would have given it to you. I was like, it's not our responsibility.
Yeah, I'm not marrying her.
But you see what I'm saying? So that's the stuff I kind of have to deal with. Since it feels
Yeah,
like
well,
I have,
and
you know,
again,
ultimatum-wise, but I'm not trying to, I guess. You're right.
Well, see, depending on how you say it, it may or may not come across that way. See what I'm saying? Which is...
But Cameron took it as like, oh, we'll just do it for her because she's a responsible maid. At least that way it gets paid. That's fine, but I don't want you having to pay me back because I'm paying her car note, her insurance note.
Right, it's not your guys' responsibility to be paying on her car.
And if Cameron, if you want to do that for her, that's fine. But I don't want to hear you saying like, "Oh, we're spending too much, we're moving," or this, or you want this kind of wedding dress, which costs this much money. That's what adds up. You're gonna pay her $510 for her insurance for that fucking Porsche a month, full coverage.
Yeah.
You know, and she only makes around like a little over $900 something from her trust fund. So it's like, how do we know every month you're gonna get that, or I'm gonna get it back? I'm not worried about Cameron giving it back to me. But that means it's taken out of her. So that's what I'm talking about, like the wedding. Like it's like I gotta tell you 2 years in advance. Like if she ain't ready or down, she's not partying out before, and there's not some drastic emergency.
Right.
I'm not holding it up. We're not holding it up.
See, and I don't know what your guys' conversation was to lead to that, but I understand.
Oh, we were in a good mood. We were just talking about the car note thing.
Sure.
She paid me back yet. She doesn't pay me back. I said she promised in 5 days. Today's day 9. And she's going to pay her sister back. And that's what I brought up, like about marriage, wedding, and blah, blah, blah.
What is it? So my point is that sometimes when you say some of these things to me, I'm like, wow, that's like a weird ultimatum. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to say that you can't have places to put your foot down. I'm just saying when you said it to me, it came across as an ultimatum. So potentially you want to work on that in the future.
Okay.
To just be like,
More
hey.
sensitive?
Well, not necessarily more sensitive. Just be like more clear on the lines of like, hey, look, I'm not saying this isn't happening. I just want to say that I'm concerned that this could happen because your sister has a tendency to be irresponsible. So I just want you to know that in the event that she's responsible for slowing down the wedding or something like that, I just want you to know that I don't want that to happen. And I think, I imagine your fiance knows her sister well enough to know that that is a legitimate concern. Right?
I think yes, but I think Cameron likes to pick that fight with me, so I won't pick it with her sister.
Which is fair. Like, it's not necessarily a conversation you should have to be having most of the time with her sister, or Cameron for that matter. Like,
Yes.
it shouldn't be a major factor in your life. It might be because, you know, maybe they're really close, and maybe that sometimes it is going to be a major factor in people's lives. I get that. I understand and can appreciate that, right? But at the same time, like, I also don't see a reason to word it in a situation or bring it up in such a situation that
So wrong time,
Could-
wrong place.
could cause some. Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not saying that it is. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that, like, I've had situations. I'm trying to think of an example that my wife and I had with her sister. For example, I used to babysit my niece, right? All the time. Like, I was her live-in nanny when my wife and I first got engaged, and then we continued to be her nanny for, like, I don't know, a long time, and then they moved here to Salina, and we followed up a few months later when my wife got a job up here. Okay, and through that early times, my sister-in-law and myself would continue to we would trade the kids off, right? So, like, I would watch them throughout the day when my sister-in-law was at work, and then I would trade back to my sister-in-law, like, when I went to school or when I was heading off to run the snow cone stand. Okay?
Okay.
So, like, we had this relationship, but and I love my sister-in-law. Okay? If Harm, for some strange reason, you end up finding this, love you to death. But we, especially at that period of time, we had very different ideas on disciplining each of our children. Right? So she was watching Remington, I was watching Aislinn. And Aislinn and she still is, she's a child who has to learn things the hard way herself.
Okay.
Right? You cannot give her a shortcut of life. Okay? She's just one of those people. It's nothing but the hard way. Which kills me. You know?
Like your sister?
Huh?
Like your sister or your niece, I mean, right?
Yeah, that's my niece, right.
Niece, yeah, okay.
You know, she has the two kids, she's got the weird relationship that from the past, she's got her legal issues right now. You know. So now we're at the place where she even tells me years later, she's like, yeah, I get it. I understand why you were trying to be, you know, you're tough on her because you saw some of this stuff coming. I'm like, yeah. I mean, not this specific examples, but yeah, I saw problems like this. And I was a little bit more strict. And one day she was like, if you're gonna be so strict with Aislinn, I'm gonna be strict with Remy. I'm like, okay, you should. And then but I'm like, he's 2 or 3 or whatever. How strict can you be? Right? And I don't remember what happened, but something weird happened, and he got a serious ass whooping. Like, way over and aboard what he needed at 2 years old. Right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, what the S? Like, what's going on? Like, what? Like, this is clearly crossing the line. She's like, well, you did it to Aislinn. I'm like, this is... One, I had a conversation with Aislinn twice about the thing that she did wrong. And then she went out and willfully did it again almost immediately to see what trouble she would get into. So she was disciplined for that. And I'm like... And I set an unreasonable ultimatum for my sister-in-law. I'm like, look, this is... If you don't trust me to discipline, then why do you trust me to protect her? You know, and I set this thing, and she kind of blew up at me. And that was a moment where my wife and I were like, look, we're out of here. We're going to find someplace else. We'll figure it out. We'll go watch... all this crap. And we left. Like, we had this huge knockdown, drag down fight. Right? And she, like, did not pull any punches with me. Like, we
Really?
never have gotten into it like that again or since. And honestly, I don't know if we would anymore, because basically now she's come around to pretty much everything that I said. But, like, it was totally my fault. I realize that I set an inappropriate expectation for the same thing. You know, it's like, this was clearly crossing a line for you, but when I did it, from her perspective, it was clearly crossing the line for her. And, you know, I didn't mean it to be like this weird ultimatum of like, if you ever do this again, we're leaving, we're never coming, you know what I mean? But like, it certainly turned into that. So I can appreciate something weird kind of coming out of nowhere from left field that sits at a weird angle, whether it blows up into a massive fight or not, where now, you know, a two second little, like, a little explanation, a little bit like, this is where my head's at, you know, like, hey babe, I'm really concerned that this could be a problem if you're, you know, your sister can be irresponsible sometimes and do something crazy, like if she's the maid of honor, you know, she could go out partying the night before and, you know, she could try to make the wedding late. I really don't want that to be the case. You know, people
And
are...
that's the sad part, because I'm thinking this far ahead, and I know that could be a real possibility.
Sure. But you just have to express it in that kind of way, as opposed to, especially right now with, like, irresponsibility of this car payment kind of situation. Like, for you, this is a warning flag. For her, it's like, this is how my sister is. Like, I'm always there picking up the pieces for her. Right?
Yep.
And some people just have that mentality when it comes to family.
Well, her and my nephew are dating, so they can split their money and they can do it themselves. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's frustrating. It's like, dude, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that, but just be careful, is what I'm saying, on weird things that come across that way. Anyhow, I need to go back to something before I let the conversation get sidetracked in a weird way again. So while I was taking care of the bunny and talking to the wife about, you know, we started, like, transitioned into this conversation around the bunny, because Cam, you know, the bunny's name was Cam, and Campbell Soup, and made me think about you and how you would hate that joke and yada yada yada. Right? So we started talking about you and Cameron. Kinda. Not like really, but like the situation that's going on. And I go, hey babe, remember how I talked to you about that idea that stuff might go sideways for B-Love around this move, and he might ask us to house sit? Like, what would you feel about that? And she goes, why? So then I told her that it kind of came up in conversation the other day, and she's like, I don't know how I'd feel about it. What did he say? I'm like, you didn't really say anything about it one way or the other. I'm only mentioning it to you so I could get an idea of what you would say. And she's like, I don't know. He would have to ask us first. I'm like, I don't know. No one's asking. It just came up.
I don't even know if I'm selling it. I don't know if we're going to be able to move. I don't know what until October 12th. I don't really know anything that's going on. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm like, all I know is he wanted to know what you thought you would say if he did ask.
Because I know she wants to travel and move around, and, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
all the cool things I was talking about you can do here.
Yeah, staying in California for 2 years may not be the worst.
Yeah, so, yeah, I agree.
You know, like, it may be great. It may be terrible. You know? And I'm like, there's some responsibilities that would be involved. You know, he's got a lot of animals we got to take care of. We got property to take care of.
And then plus, like, what happens if you guys just say, hey, we can't do it anymore? Now I got to come back, find someone to move in, and then it could be a great situation. It could be a fucking, and plus obligation. I wouldn't want to, like, right away say, well, you're obligated to be there for 2 years. You didn't sign no contract. I'm not holding you against your will. You know.
Well, that's...
So it could be a great thing. It could be a bad thing. We just don't know. It's just
right.
A topic.
So he said we were just talking about it in general, and I was like, I just wanted to put it out there because, you know, my old lady, she's gonna mull over it for a long time before she were to like have a real opinion, because that's a big, you know, like, it took a long time to get where we are now in the bus in general, like
I can
deciding
imagine this is a new one, bigger one, you know.
And I mean, not really, because it would be
But-
something where we would instead, right? Well, her first response was like, "Well, who's gonna watch our house?" I'm like,
Yeah, right.
ideally, hopefully, we would be selling our house before that happened, because you're not talking about moving like next week. You're talking about moving like next fall, right? Or next summer or something.
No, it's coming up. October 12th is the day that she'll find out if we can get into England. She can get in.
Oh, okay. I didn't think it was that soon.
No, that's the cutoff date. Now October 12th hits and they say yes, we can move to UK. I already put the money down on the house. We will be moving December 1st.
Oh, wow. So
That's
yeah,
why
like,
I came up in my house up now, because Jamie's going to move out on the 1st of January. She's going to get her own place closer to the beach. That's why I was like, oh, I might have to sell my house. Because I can't trust my nephew and his new girlfriend, which is her sister, to
Right.
stay there. And my other family members, they're not going to just uproot and move because they have their own lives. They just can't uproot themselves. So I was like, I don't really want to just rent it out to somebody, and then like what happens if something breaks? Like I can loan it back, or you know, all kind of obligations. So I'm like, I just might as well sell it because I got some people that have offered me on it already. That way I have money in the bank. If we move back to LA or to San Diego or to San Francisco, we can always buy a place. Or if she wants to just continue being a traveling nurse, she can always do that too. Just be a traveling baby RN and go to different places. Work here for 6 months. Work here. I think 3 months is the shortest contract you can sign as a traveling baby nurse. So we might be in Glasgow, Scotland for 3 months. Then we might be in freaking Amsterdam for 6 months. We might just once my niece turns 18 or gets into college, she's kind of want to go on her own. But like she already knows she never has to leave.
right. Well,
so
my
at that time we might have a newborn. By that time we start doing traveling. So do we want to travel with a newborn, or do we want to stay someplace for a couple of years, maybe gets old enough to really travel?
Well, I
Yeah.
tell you, like I said, it could be something that turns into a situation where we could, if we get to the point where we're interested in such a thing, we can talk about it in detail, obviously.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was a little bit further down the line. I didn't think it would be like that quick. But no,
Now,
I
if
just
we
wanted to
can't-
put,
October 12th hits. If we can't get in there, then I have to go to Malaysia, Singapore, and see if she can get in there. If not, then we gotta try for freaking South Africa. And if not, then we gotta wait 2 years for the program to reopen
that's crazy.
for her to do it again. So then I can be stuck back here with my house, of course. So that's why I kind of gotta know. Like, basically, October 13th hits. I'm either gonna be like, yes, we're going to UK, or I'm gonna be on a plane on the 20th around there to Singapore for 10 days to find a house. You know, it's either gonna be there or South Africa. That'll be the go. But she's supposed to start her new job. January 17th is her first day.
Well, all I know is that I was trying to kick around the idea, put the bug in her ear, in case we decided we were kind of into the
And
idea.
if you do get the job to watch my house for a couple of years, you can always work on your bus here while you're at the house.
Yeah, I'm not as worried about working on the bus. Like, that's...
So you get to where you can drive it enough to drive to here, then you can just do all your extra stuff for a couple of years and just use my truck, or use my car, or my Land Cruiser to...
Yeah, well, like, I would be able to drive it there. The
We're
problem
taking
is
we're taking Cameron's car with us, her new car, my truck, my Land Cruiser staying here. Either my mom's place in Northern California, or there, or whatever.
yeah. No, I don't know, for whatever reason I think it'd be later. That's all. Oh, here, I gotta block
So that's why that's why it's been stressful on me, because I've taken all the brunt of this on, because I don't want her to have to deal with all this shit,
sure.
you know?
Well,
And
I said,
she
man,
said-
like,
she would keep giving me shit, like, I can handle more work. I'm like, no, we don't really need that, I can do it. You know, I've been a world traveler my whole life, I have no problem doing this, it's not hard. Because she does not put the homework in. Like I said, my niece understands money. She understands money in France, she understands money in Italy, she understands the euro, she understands the British pound and the sterling. My girlfriend has no idea yet, still doesn't know. I have to set up a whole new bank account in England, English Bank of, probably the one in London I'm going to use. Got to transfer money in her trust, a certain tax, and it's the whole thing that she doesn't even really get into yet. I'm handling all that for her. That's why I don't think she understands like how much I actually I'm doing. You know what I mean?
and maybe at some point you need to let her know. At some point. But
I mean, we can move there, and in 6 months, I could be like, I'm telling this girl, fuck this, I'm breaking up.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And then she's on her own anyways, but she would have been on her own without me anyway. She was gonna do the same thing anyways without me, if I was in her life or not. You know, I would
Maybe.
just stay. I'd still live there. I'd be her roommate still basically for until she's done. I wouldn't just like. I don't think I would be that much of a dick just like bounce. You know, I like London, and my niece, wants to go to school there to learn more soccer. She's going to the American school there. We might just go to my grandfather. If I broke up with her, I might just go to my grandfather in Italy for a couple of years. Let her hang out with my grandfather. You know. So there's all kinds of options I have. That's why I keep a lot of options available. I'm not like most of my friends that are like, oh my god, they can't go camping for more than 4 days without losing like they've lost touch of the world. I'm like, dude, you're camping 70 miles from your house. And after day 3, you're like freaking out, you want to go home because you have your usual shit. I don't need that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
that's why I'm trying to bring my home with me. Put my home on my back like a turtle. Turtle. No, I feel you. I'm just, like I said,
She's very resourceful too, so it's good.
I just wanted to let you know that I did put the bug in her ear
Oh, okay.
in case something started happening. Again, I was thinking it would be a little bit further away,
Yeah.
but it
I've
could.
already started packing a lot of stuff up. I already got my storage unit ready to go just in case. Paid for.
Yeah. Well, it very well could turn into a situation because Remington and Riley are talking already about getting a place, and I already put it out there that maybe they would. This was even before you and I talked. Like, well,
Just take over your place.
yeah, I'm like, what would happen if you two and maybe like one other person take over our place? Because
Buy it from you guys. Get out of the loan. Buy it from you.
well, that's what I would. I mean, I would let Remington like
Just rent it basically.
rent it basically for the cost of the house or whatever for now.
Yeah.
And we would still like keep it in the family as it were, and then they
But to
would.
build up credit, some equity, they can use a down payment. Blah, blah,
Yeah, but I was like, if you had like one other friend or two other friends, like 4 people could split this house easy.
Well, someone like Nate. Nate can kind of make the wash.
Well, so Nate tried to steal Riley already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Nate has this 2-bedroom house, which is really cute. And Riley was talking about getting a place. And he's like, yeah, you looking for a place? And he's like, well, yeah, I'm thinking about getting a place with Remy. He's like, screw Remy, I got a place.
How big is your place?
Well, we've got, technically it's 2 bedrooms.
And a basement?
It's got a finished basement that has a half bath. It's got a shower. What is that? A 3/4 bath? 3/4 bath?
You still got a stand-up shower, no bathtub?
Correct. In the downstairs. And I've actually never, I don't think, turned that shower on, so I don't even know if it works. Like the guy who put it in, he did a lot of construction, so like he did a lot of work on the house himself. So it's like what you would consider like a construction shower, I guess. So like it needs.
In California, it's either way. It's either you have the bathtub, which is considered a half bath, or a stand-up shower, no bathtub, half bath. So either way, it's about a half bath.
Yeah, I need to. There's some work that we would do, was basically to kind of ready the house for others. But I was just like, but my office is like basically a bedroom, right? It doesn't have an egress window, so in Kansas, you can't be listed as a bedroom, like on the listing. And then
You have storm doors. You can walk, double doors. You can walk out of.
yeah, so mine's a buried basement, but like I could put an egress window in,
Okay.
right? And that's one of the things that we plan on doing before we sell the house, and it's going to be like $7,000 or something. But it's going
It's
to.
hot down there, huh? In the summer and cold in the winter.
It's not bad. It's pretty nice all year round. The reason why I get a little chilly in here is because the air conditioner is right outside my office door, and the main vent blows right through my office and up. So like, I get the first breeze of the air conditioning, as it were, and that can get a little cold.
Then the winter time, you have the nice heat coming on right away.
Yeah, I usually just close it in the winter though, because the computer is usually enough to, and a hat is usually enough to keep me toasty.
And a blanket, you're good to go.
Sometimes a blanket. I do keep one here by my computer desk. But mostly, you know, it's a matter of just like keeping myself comfortable. But it's fine. And then what my wife and I consider our bedroom, there's not a way that you could put an egress window in that room directly, but I could put one in the downstairs living room that would escape into the backyard, but I don't know what the code is for like going one room away in our city, if that would count or if it would be a problem. So, but if that's only really an issue if you're listing the house, right? So I can't legally say that I have a 4-bedroom house.
I gotcha.
But we treat it like a 4-bedroom house. So.
See, like for me, like above my garage, I have an apartment. The reason why it's called an apartment is because it has a full bath in it.
Right.
If it didn't have a full bath and only a half bath, it would be just extended room. It would be another room in my house.
Yeah.
So like, I would list mine as a 5-bedroom with an apartment over the garage. If it was opposite, it'd be just a 6-bedroom.
Right. So like for us, it's a lot of space, but it's deceptively large. You know what I mean? So like, I don't remember exactly what the square footage is, but whatever it is, because it's got a finished basement, you have to basically describe it as X number of square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 full bath, 1 half bath, or 3/4 bath, however they want to call it, and then a finished basement.
Gotcha.
So, even though, again, my wife and I, we like living we like being in our rooms underground. So, for us, it's nice. Well, I suppose 2,000 experience points is better than I've been getting on gold rolls. Jesus. Experience is just kicking me in the teeth.
Your TR tonight?
No, I'll TR tomorrow. I'm just prepping for tonight. I got my TR cache emptied. I got my Heart of Wood in.
You know what my voting is, right? I already told my Barbarian. I want the Barbarian.
V-Love.
Barbarian, Rogue. You gotta have some Rogue on near this life.
Probably like... I honestly hate having rogue levels on Barbarians. I don't... So, like, I like having rogue levels in general, right?
Yeah.
But I don't like having to go out of rage to do the traps. You see what I'm saying? So, I typically take some sort of rogue or you know, like something, but I really dislike having to go out of rage. So then I end up turning... Huh?
When I do my Barbarian Rogues, I don't use any of the Rage tree at all. I use the other trees.
Exactly, which is what I just end up, like, not ever using the Rage, probably. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Right now, before things even get carried away, I would like you to know...
Wisdom Barbarian is red badass. Watch that guy play the other day.
I just want you to already know that you're down by 4 votes already.
For who's got the lead? What's the dumbass alchemist shit, man? Jesus Christ.
He wants some sort of dog thing. But yeah, because Talab's got more points than you, and he got Rhett to also vote with him. And he buys Rhett's...
Just every time I played DD, I was playing this morning for a little bit on another server. I was catching up, and like our group joined this group of people. It was 6 of us, 4 friggin' alchemists. It's like, man.
Yeah, I'd probably have an alchemist symbol, but I would be like in animal form all the time.
I get you, man, but
it's just the most powerful build in the game right now.
You know how I am on the builds, man. I think the player makes the build, not the build makes the player.
There's some truth to that, but also the build makes the... Like, the build certainly helps. And it's one of those builds that... It's going to make a... Like, it's not going to take a terrible player and make him a good player. but it's going to make it easier for a player of average skill to be above average. Does that make sense? So
Like a crutch?
it's going to, it's not a crutch. I don't like that. It's going to, it's a thing that's going to make, it's going to give you that edge that helps kind of pull you ahead, right? So like, is there anything in sports like the weights, right? If you do all your training with weights, so then when you take your weights off, you have that edge compared to somebody who doesn't train with weights on, right?
Okay.
To try to make it a sports thing. That's kind of what an alchemist is. It's that thing that can help pull you a little bit ahead. Now, if you take two players that are equal skill, and one's playing an alchemist and the other one's playing a sorc, the alchemist is probably going to be just a hair stronger. Okay? However, that gap gets bigger the better play skill you have. So let's say like somebody like me goes into a quest, right, as an alchemist. The edge of somebody who is not an alchemist that's at my same play level is going to be significant. So like for example, if I'm playing a wizard and I'm playing say I'm like doing quests against myself, right? I'm doing things as a wizard, and I'm recording like times and deaths and like all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
If I were to record all that stuff and then turn around and like TR into an alchemist and record all that stuff, that alchemist would probably be between 10, I would assume 10 and 15% faster than the wizard,
Okay.
and like better in almost every single camp. You see what I'm saying?
So this thing is a druid, dog, alchemist. So what's the split on it?
It depends. So I haven't really figured it out yet, but there was
You go
talk
falconer,
of like,
either falconer tree, wisdom, hidden damage, or what?
I don't know. That's just it. I have no idea. I would literally be making the entire thing up on the fly.
So he's just making, it's not even a class? Like the ones I try to get you to make up fake ones, you get mad at me all the time?
Well, this when he first gave it to me, I was just as mad as if you were trying to give it to me. He was like, you know what?
I give you to actually viable to play. You know,
Well,
like,
and what he kind of like, the idea I believe in his mind was like druid monk, right? That makes sense, right? Like that comes together to make a build. And then he's like, and what if you use like the powerful stuff from alchemist to like layer in, right? So in
like
his
poison,
mind, you're
you got poison monk, poison alchemist.
yeah, that the same kind of poison alchemist stuff.
Okay.
So like, so in his mind, you know, you get like the poison stance, which means you want to go like every 3 levels, right? Just kind of looking at it. Let me pull up the chart here.
How about this? How about I like the coup de grace bard thrower one. I like that one better.
For instead of what, your barbarian?
Yeah. What do you think about that build? You're using ranged coup de grace, so you can use it with
So-
a crossbow. You can use it with a thrown weapon.
Right. I told you before that I feel like the range coup de grace is very difficult compared to other things. Like, the reason I really like the swashbuckling type coup de grace build is because you get the stun for the guy and then you can follow it up with a kill, right? You don't
Is there
really
any
get a
stuns?
stun if you're like, you don't have a way to make them coup de graceable unless you like run around, sing the song, and then you can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I
For
mean?
suggestion, mass hold monster.
So now I'm a DC based casting
What about
bard.
dancing ball.
Okay, so I'm still a DC based casting bard.
Okay. You're both charisma based.
Okay, but right now I have to not have my main attributes in my like in my tree, right? Now instead of putting that into like the spell singer, because obviously if I'm casting a bunch of spells, right, I want to make my DCs as good as possible, right, to try to land these holds and stuff. But I can't put that in the top tier because now I'm taking my top tier in Swashbuckler, which doesn't add to my DCs, right, in a meaningful way, so I can use Coup de Grace. See what I mean? They don't. The two ideas.
But you can get a
clash.
paralyzing dagger, or paralyzing crossbow, or something, and paralyze them, and then coup de grace.
You could do that, and it would be very inefficient use of the time. But you see what I'm trying to say? Like how these ideas conflict with each other.
Not really. I just see them as like just trying to freeze something or stun something. So you
Okay,
can
well now,
murder it.
see, now you're talking about freezing things. So like, is it?
Freeze it, murder it, sing it, song it. I don't care how
Well,
you do it.
the difference is like when you're talking about using spells to do something, it's different, right? Does that make sense?
Then use your fascinate. Get that perform skill
Again,
up.
the
Fascinate.
problem with Fascinate is it's very time consuming. Now, on the other hand, you talk about freezing, it's more possible, and I'm not as familiar with the War Chanter tree, but it's possible that you could use the War Chanter tree as your freezes, right?
Mhm.
Except, again, I don't know where the freezes actually lie. So, like,
Check it out. Look up on the stream or on the wiki.
I'm looking at the wiki right now.
Oh,
Okay, so Frozen Fury, right, is your first kind of freeze type effect, and that's at tier
Yeah.
3. So you could do that and still do Swashbuckler.
Mhm.
Okay, so now you have to be like, okay, you could do this and have it make sense, right? So now you got to go, okay, so now I'm going to be sword and
you
board.
and you got a frozen tunic on. Helps you get some more freezing. Freezing gale, something.
It feels unlikely that I
Armor.
would put the frozen tunic on by the time I have the points to do this kind of stuff.
Okay.
Again, you'd probably want to have your Sharn gear. So now basically it starts to turn into, in my mind, right, like every other swashbuckling build that I do. So I get sword and board, using probably a dagger, doing the swashbuckler thing, and
Yeah,
also
dagger.
and using the War Chanter tree for extra freezes,
Okay.
right? And that could be a fine build. You know, maybe even splash, like, if you really wanted to get crazy and say you're going to really heavily rely on the freezes from War Chanter, maybe instead of going like Rogue or something, you go Artie, right? And
Okay.
use a Rune Arm. And then that helps just give you an extra layer of cold damage if you're using like a cold effect Rune Arm. Maybe you're using at 14, you can put on the cold Rune Arm that freezes things. Like, there's a possibility you can make something happen like that. You feel me? But then it turns into like, does it make sense to do? Which it could. It could. And I'd be fine putting down the list of possibilities. I'm going to leave the Barbarian on the list because I honestly think I like the Barbarian. Like, if it was me picking, I would pick either the Barbarian or the Eldritch Knight Pellmaster. Because I just feel like I haven't done either one of those things lately.
I'm good with either one of those. I just don't like the Alchemist one.
You know, like the Dog Alchemist?
No. Because it's Alchemist. Anyway, because these are your last few lives. So I think you should put something that's...
I literally don't think I've
you
ever
haven't
seen
done
it.
You haven't done it in a while. I mean, you just did an Alchemist. You can do an Alchemist later.
Yeah, but that was I played a caster alchemist. This would not be a caster alchemist. This would be a melee alchemist, which, to be honest, is, in my opinion, the more fun alchemist. So, like, if we go back here and we look at it, right, just for example, and I also would have to bring up the druid tree, right? So to be a dog, and let's pretend that I wanted to get to Winterwolf. That means I have to be 8 levels of druid. However, if I want to just be regular wolf, that means I have to have 5 levels of druid. Okay? So, let's keep those two things in mind. 8 levels or 5 levels of druid just to get the bare minimums to have a... Oh wait, no, you could also do 2. You could do 2 levels of druid. Just to get the bare minimum levels for... So either 2 levels of druid or 8 levels of druid. To get the 2 different wolf forms. Okay? So now, alchemist, one of the things that was thrown out there was... possibly getting evasion, right? The problem with evasion is you have to be level 12. The other problem with evasion, right, is how good is it going to be? So you have to be in light armor, right? Also means you have to have a good dexterity score. So does that mean that we're going to be doing int? Like, are we going to have a high intelligence to be able to use our int to dexterity? Because we get that.
Ranger, alchemist, and druid. You get the evasion from ranger that level.
You could get evasion at 9th level that way. Potentially.
A couple levels of.
Well, the other thing that was thrown out was the monk, specifically, in my opinion, for the monk healing curse. So you're talking 3 levels of monk in there. That gives a couple of good things. It gives you a couple extra feats.
Then you get 8 levels of druid, 9 levels of ranger. There you go.
Yeah, I think the idea behind the build was to take advantage of like the potions and the vile alchemist, like the combat potions, and the vile alchemist like extra damage stuff with the poison coating.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I believe the idea behind the build was. Right? So like I said, I'm just like, okay, does this mean that we're actually going to be an int-based druid dog with liquid luck, and so we're going to be an alchemist, but we're not going to throw potions, we're only going to like drink potions as boosts? Do potions even work in dog form?
What about instead of doing monk, you do wizard?
3 levels of wizard? I mean, you can't...
You get some Eldritch Night Tree in there with your melee?
Yes, but you can't do poison coating and the other one at the same time. So they don't really kind of like go together.
Oh, be undead form?
Well, you can't be undead form and a dog.
No, I'm talking about the Eldritch Knight, just a melee wizard.
Right. And what I'm saying is that the reason you do an Eldritch Knight is, in my opinion, is so you can do the electrical damage on your attacks, but you can't do it and poison coating at the same time.
Oh, okay.
See what I mean? So like
I gotcha.
poison coating, if I take every 3 levels of alchemist, I get an extra d6 of poison damage. So
You're the monk, you get the poison monk.
if you did monk, let me bring up another monk.
Yeah, I love that sting of the poison in there. I have a short sword user who does dual short swords. Monk's pretty badass.
So if you did monk and you did ninja spy, right? You
Yeah,
can,
I think it's-
and if you're centered, you can use your dexterity to hit with everything or just short swords.
It's short swords, kukris, and you have to take the other one, like the tier 4. I think that's when you get any weapon you want.
Yeah, the wiki doesn't have like that description. It says just while you're centered, which means you have to use a centering weapon, which I guess is the reason why short swords are counted as key weapons.
Mm-hmm. I use dual assassin's tiefling assassin's blades, and I have a couple assassin's kisses that he uses too.
So yeah, so you could do dexterity based, but again, I don't know, it gets kind of weird. But then yeah, you can do, what is it called? Isn't there a, there's a like, it's a stance, it's not a stance, but it's a toggle.
Yeah, sting of the poison, isn't it?
And the sting of the poison is a single attack. I thought there was a, Maybe it's an assassin ability, actually, from the assassin tree is what I'm thinking of. There's a thing that gives you an extra tier of poison damage. And then you have, in the ninjutsu basic training thing, you have all of these different poison attacks that you can pick up.
Yep.
So you could like do this poison exploit. If they fail your saving throw and touch a despair, it also does a bunch of extra poison damage, which probably would help stack up on, because you're doing alchemist, you're going to be doing all this alchemist poison stuff, and you're going to like fire off the, if you can, the vile alchemist ability. Shit, I keep forgetting they don't have this sliced up. What is it called? Poison wave of poison, that lets things take poison damage that normally wouldn't take poison. So like you're putting these things together to try to have like this high double strike, high attack speed rate, awakening things to poison, and trying to like kill things with this massive pile of poison damage. I'm just not
you
sure.
Get Rise of the Phoenix. You run Resurrection spell.
I think that involves too many levels of monk.
Yeah, it's tier 5. It's all at the top. It's in the Shinkai tree.
See, I think the goal is to probably, and I don't know yet. Again, I think the goal would probably be to be super high up the biochemistry, so you get the maximum poison bonuses going on. So like here, for example, with Fatal Poison, while holding a simple weapon in your main hand, and a simple weapon, orb, or rune arm, or nothing in your offhand, get +2 to hit, +1 to damage, +1 competent bonus to critical range. Like, that's basically the same bonus for being a swashbuckler, as long as you're using, like, a simple weapon, like, say, a dagger.
Yeah, Ninja Master is a tier 5 ability where you get to use any weapon. Melee weapon. You're centered. You get Vorpal.
And then you can also fire off simple weapons gaining extra weapon damage, right? So now you can combine Vile Alchemist with being in dog form for extra attack speed and all these double strike feats from being in dog form, right? Then you get to take some Vishtanti stuff, really rack up that double strike attack, pick up all that extra stuff, doing all this poison damage. You get the monks to increase your attack, and you pick up 2 levels of evasion. Maybe that's what. Maybe you don't have to be so high, because you'll get evasion from the monk levels actually.
And that Sting of the Ninja is a weapon stance.
So what if? Let's see. Hang on. Let me rethink something here. So if I do 3 levels of monk, right?
You can get that Sting of the Ninja, which is weapon stance. You get poison with all your weapons. While you're centered, your piercing and slashing melee weapons inflict your foe with a stack of poison on critical hits.
Is that the tier 5?
It's
the tier 3?
Tier 3.
Yeah, that would probably be fine. It's tier 3.
Stance. You click it on, it's a stance. Weapon stance.
As long... if it works with the Vile Chemist... Let me see if this is also considered a weapon stance. I bet it is. I bet they don't work together, because that would be good. What's it called? Oh, poison coating. Toggle while see, it doesn't say weapon stance on it. But it does say mutually exclusive with spell sword toggle. So maybe they would work together. If they work together, then that would be sweet.
This now, if you had the level tier 4, which is 4 levels a monk, you get deadly exploits, which every time you get that weapon stance to critically hit, you do either 1d30, 1d40, 1d50 poison damage per stack of ninja poison. So you do
Bug causes poison exploit to do no damage.
Isn't that cool?
It would be if it worked. It sounds like it doesn't work.
I think it works now. This is old. This has been for a long time.
Okay, well the wiki hasn't been updated if true.
Yeah.
But like, it's something possible to think about, doing 4 levels of monk instead. Okay. So if we were to do 8 levels of druid and 4 levels of monk, see, that doesn't work out very nicely.
That's 12, and you have 8
'Cause
levels
that
of
gives you
alchemist.
8 levels of alchemist, and you want one more level. Like if you're gonna go that high, you want 9. So like I think you could go 3 levels of monk, 8 levels of druid, and 9 levels of alchemist. And
About
kind
7
of
levels of druid.
well, if you go one less level of druid, then you can't go into the winter wolf form.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So like you either go basically a few levels of druid levels, or you go bam. And then that also gives you 4th level druid spells, which that gives you like freedom of movement, which is pretty good. Lesser vigor mass. How many is that going to give? I didn't look. Those are like the big ones. Because Ice Storm's not going to do a lot of damage. Cure Serious Wounds. Let's see. Level 3s are going to give you like Baiting Bite. So you're going to have, like, that's another attack. You'll be able to do like the trip attack. You have a bunch of healing. Like, it could be cool. Like, I literally haven't done like a melee druid shapeshifted build in a long time. Like I did this caster life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't played as an like a melee. That gives you takedown. Like you could get some real fun shit out of this, I think. I don't know. See what I'm saying? The other thing is, if I don't do the Eldritch Knight build this go around, I'm definitely going to boycott, and I'm going to pick it for the last one. And I'm going to do a stick build Eldritch Knight.
There you go.
I don't know what it's going to be, but if I don't do one this go around. So if it doesn't win the voting, which again, I haven't looked, but the other Big Daddy supporter on Patreon is a person who's been asking for the Eldritch Knight build.
I'm good with that.
See, which means you, Talab, and Smurf are my 3 Big Daddy supporters on Patreon. Which means,
Hey, I'm good with all 3 of them. Just do whatever order you want to do them. It's fine with me.
well, I only have 2 lives left, and then I
But
switch.
you have Iconics coming up, so if you do an Iconic life, yeah.
Iconics. I got Shifter lives. Like we have a bunch of stuff.
Too? You could do the Shifter Barbarian. How's that?
There's a bunch of things down the road that I'm interested in considering. But she, for example, she has been voting for this Eldritch Knight build. So like hers, yours, and
How long
Talab's.
has she been voting for?
2 months. The last
I'll
2
vote-
lives.
So if I vote with her, will we win?
Well, currently, because that'd make 2 of you guys against Talab's big vote. So then I have to go through and calculate the numbers again exactly.
So you do Eldritch Knight quarterstaff build?
Potentially. The reason why I was waiting until next time would be after I could do it now, but when I get to transfer my character from the hardcore server, one of the things that I get to bring with me is that level 18 quarterstaff.
Uh-huh.
And that level 18 quarterstaff has the ability to take the I'm trying to think what it's called now. Sentient gems.
Gotcha.
So I could have my sentient gem and actually play with it for a couple of levels before I TR again. See what I mean? So I could do it, transfer my sentient gem over, and then I get to actually play with the sentient weapon stuff for 2 levels, basically. Which sounds awesome, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere I'm going to fiddle with it, because I'm sure I'm not going to be able to spend very much time in Iconics before they have the shifter out, and then I'll have to stop and do shifters. So, but yeah, I think this monk build thing, or this alchemist druid monk build thing, could be interesting. I think the Eldritch Knight thing would be sweet. I think a barbarian or a paladin build would both be sweet. So like, I'm kind of I'm okay personally. I'm okay with any of them. But that's the thing about having people vote, man. It's like tomorrow when the voting actually officially opens, it's gonna get cray. So again, one of the perks of being a Patreon that I haven't solidified to anybody yet is that you guys could basically early vote or absentee vote. So, like I said, Talab has already basically thrown his weight towards this Druid Wolf thing. And again, you and he and Smurf all get the same value from being a Patreon supporter, right? So let me just double check exactly what the Patreon says that you guys get from that. Because why does it continuously tell me I have one unread post? Even though I've literally read this message 4 times. Okay. So if I were to go and look at it, and those of you who may be watching and kind of interested in what's going on, I have a Patreon page, patreon.com/Samus. And can I please view my public page? I would really appreciate it. There we go. And on here I have 3 tiers basically. I have $1 tier, a $3 tier, and a $20 tier. So the $20 tier gives you 8 points. Alright? And then everybody who watches Patreon gets 1 vote. Or watches the stream gets a vote. If you're a Twitch supporter, you get 3 votes. Like, not in addition to a total of 3. And then if you're the second tier, I believe it's 5. And if you're the third tier, I believe it is 7. So, and the Patreon and the Twitch go together. So Talab gets 15 votes currently because he's top tier of both. V-Love currently gets 11 votes.
Right on.
Okay. I believe Smurfy gets 11 votes.
Alright, so I'll vote with Smurfy then. We'll get your Elder's Knight. You can bring over your...
Okay, so you want to switch your votes here.
Yeah.
Alright, so currently it's 22 to 15. Now, the other thing that throws a loop in this is that Rhett also voted today, and he voted for Talab's thing. So it's 18 to 22 right now.
Right on.
So you guys are slightly ahead.
And then Pip's gonna vote with us.
Well, if you can get him to vote, because again,
I'll get Wirbelwind and then the vote on my side.
Well, you better get started because, like I said, tomorrow morning we're gonna start the TRing pretty much right away. So I'm gonna start it up tonight when we wrap up the stream, which will be pretty soon. I'm going to I'm gonna send out the tweet.
The debates again.
You're gonna rewatch the debates.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch some coverage of for some third-party YouTubers.
Well, so I'm gonna watch different stuff, not the actual. I'm gonna watch some.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch some stuff, but
Did Tim Pool do anything?
I don't know if he was live during the debates. I don't know. We can talk about that stuff in a little bit because I'm gonna wrap up the stream here in a minute and use the restroom. But
Right, yeah.
like I said, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna limit the choices to F it. Let's just pick between those two. An Eldritch Knight build and an Alchemist Wolf build, and we'll see what people vote. Plus, the other thing that you can do is that I also let people vote on Twitter when I put out that poll. So I'll end up putting out that poll for, I don't know, some amount of hours. Like 8 hours or something, probably. So we'll see if we can get some extra votes in there. 12, 11, 10, maybe 10 hours. That would be right about time to start the stream. So we'll see what happens. See what happens. People can get some extra votes in, stuff like that. And we'll just see. We'll just play it by ear. Alright, meanwhile, everybody, because there are some people still hanging out with us today, we do appreciate it. I'm going to put you to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/SamusGarobo. I put 3 videos up today, I believe. I put up the post-mortem video, basically for the Hardcore Server Season 3. I put out the Pit Melee run-through, how to run through the pit if you're a Melee build. And then I also put out the Faye Buckler 2020 update video and updated the SamusGrobo.com with all that stuff. So I am trying to keep the content moving on YouTube here lately. I need to get back in the habit of getting more regularly stuff put out. That's kind of new and special and whatnot. So bear with me on that. And then, of course, I already kind of mentioned it, but Patreon.com/Samus is a great way to support the stream for as little as $1 a month. And it may not seem like a big deal, but it adds up. It adds up, especially with the generosity of people giving at $3, giving at $20. You know, giving the bigger totals. It all really helps quite a bit. And it for example allowed me to give pretty generously to Shu for his family emergency that came up. So all that money goes back to the stream in one way, shape, or form or another. The next thing I really would like to do is I'd like to buy like a nice GoPro or a better drone, so I can start getting some other kind of videos out for you guys. Either like more bus working videos or some aerial videos, just like stuff in general. And a nice GoPro is not cheap, so would appreciate your guys' assistance. Of course, also Baldur's Gate 3 is basically like around the corner pretty soon. Rumor is we'll probably get it around October. That's another thing. And unless somebody donates like a code for the expansion, then when I go to buy the expansion, it also comes out of that money that you guys help me save up. So don't think for one second that I plug this stuff for my own personal use. I've actually only taken money out of there one time for my own personal thing, and that was to buy the backup cameras for the bus. So that was kind of like a future proofing kind of thing for everybody. So
That's your money. Do what you want with it.
yeah, but I really feel like I really want to. I put it back into the stream. You know what I mean? Like, you know how people save? They like when they work for. You know, you have your own business. You spend a lot of time like putting money that you earn back into the business, so it can grow and get bigger and stronger. That's what I'm trying to do with it. You know, like I bought this chair. I bought this chair for the stream so I can stream better, longer, faster. You know, I'd like to get the adjustable desk at some point. So then I can stand on the stream sometimes and still sit and be comfortable other times. Like, that's another thing that I'd like to get. I feel like it's a stream tool. Same thing with like a GoPro, so we can do different videos for everybody. Like, I would love to just,
What about an escort? Does that count for a stream?
I mean, depends if I did it on stream, right? Like, or recorded the video and send it out for Patreons.
You're going to have Nate do it on a stream. You can videotape it.
Man, I can't get Nate to do the picnic basket stream with me. Are you kidding?
That would be awesome. I'm telling you, it'd be a great idea that night. I'm telling you.
I try to get him. I'm trying to get him. He still doesn't want to go for it.
He tries to play the shy, coy routine. I know.
Yeah, I know, exactly. All right, well, everybody, I think what we're gonna probably do is probably raid. Wow, is Warble not on? This seems odd.
He must be sick.
No, it probably just didn't show up.
Passed out.
No, he's on. He's on. It just didn't come up. Let's mute this. We're gonna raid Warble, and I appreciate you guys joining us a little bit later today, but those debates were, I don't want to say they're worth the watch, but they were certainly something. You know what I mean? So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much for your support. I really do appreciate it. And we'll be back tomorrow morning with Follow the Noob. Hopefully no more politics in the morning, and we can just like jump straight into the cutthroat voting system for everybody, and we'll just kind of go from there. All right, peace, love. We'll see you guys in the morning. Toodles.